Alright. Now, it might not show up immediately. Oh, it did actually. I'm actually surprised at that. I had to, it's been so long since I played Dwarf Fortress that I actually had to download a new copy of the game because I do need to fix the chat box, I know that much. But yeah, I've actually downloaded the game again so that, because there's been an update. I think there might have been a couple of updates actually since the last time we played. Nothing major, just bug fixes. So there's just been a few bug fix updates since the last time that we streamed. But yeah, we're going to be streaming some Dwarf Fortress today, and I'm just going to quickly put on some music and then we'll get straight into it. How's everybody been today? Last stream, I said that I would have a schedule, and I told everybody that I would stream Dwarf Fortress at roughly 7 o'clock United Kingdom time this Friday. And it is 7 o'clock United Kingdom time this Friday, and we're streaming Dwarf Fortress. So I have kept my promises for once. For once in my life, we've actually done it. We'll see how it pans out, but I'm hoping that we can stream for at least 4 hours. That's what I'm aiming for today. Yeah, we're going to be creating a new fortress because it's been so long since we played. So I've already made a world. I just went ahead and did that already. It's not that important really. But we generated ourselves a large world. The history's been running for about 100 years. I think it's year 103 in the world at the moment. By the way, if the sound is too loud or anything like that, then please let me know, because I haven't messed with any of my settings for Dwarf Fortress streams in a long time. So if anything is out of place, then please let me know, because I'd appreciate having that information. But yeah, the year is Granite 103. 103 years since the world was created, and the first dwarf stepped out from underneath the mountains, or underneath the rocks, wherever the dwarves came from, to populate the earth, or the world, or whatever this world is called. So yeah, we're going to stream some Dwarf Fortress, but before we can do that, we need to find a fortress. We need to plan and build a proper little home for our dwarves. And so, yeah, this is the world that we generated. I'm not actually sure what this world is called. The Destined Dimension, that's what it's called. The Destined Dimension, and it's a massive world. Now, whenever I play Dwarf Fortress, I always end up making massive worlds. I always have done. It kills your performance. It's a really stupid idea. You should always make like really small worlds, because there's no way in hell that like most of this is ever going to have anything to do with our fortress. But I always feel like that gives you the best opportunity to find interesting places on which to settle. And I have had a look around here just briefly to see if I could find anything that was interesting to me. And I mean, there were a few interesting spots. I saw that there was at least one volcano, although it's you can see here there's a necromancer tower here. And the surroundings are terrifying. That's a pretty nasty place to embark. Although we're not going to do necromancer stuff, because we always do necromancer stuff. And I think we should ease ourselves back into Dwarf Fortress. We should ease ourselves back in with an easy project. Something that's not going to be too difficult. So I was actually thinking that we'd start over here. This seemed like an interesting enough location to me. What we need to do is we need to just make sure that we are... Okay, so you can see here we've got dwarves, human, elves, and goblin neighbours. That's excellent. All the neighbours that you'd want. And we also need to make sure that we're from a relevant civilization. I don't want my parent civilization to be too far away from me. But these are the different dwarven civilizations that exist in the world. None of them look very big. They're all pretty small, actually. In fact, there aren't any near here. All of them are pretty far away. I think the Arrow of Liberating... you can kind of, I don't know if you can see my mouse, it's this one here, that's where the Arrow of Liberating is. And that's where our proposed fortress would be. And then, who else? There's the Lined Rim, the Fortress of Ownership. There seems to be a lot of dwarf civilizations on this island here. The Sabres of Defense, the Worthy Unseen Helm, tiny little dwarven civilization down there. We got the Keys of Reverence. I can't even, yeah, there they are, down on the map there, right at the bottom. The Sweltering Barricade, they're on this island over here, and then we've got the Prime Hammer, who are this mountainous civilization over here. But yeah, we're going to go with, I think we're going to go with the Arrows of Liberating. We're going to liberate the desert. We're going to make the desert blossom. That's what we're going to do. And yeah, let's also just check and make sure that everything else is alright. Relative elevation, don't really care about any of that. So it's Scorching Hot, Woodland, Shrubland, some vegetation. We've got a stream, we've got sand, clay, very deep soil, shallow metals, deep soils, and flux stone. So we might be able to make steel, although that depends on whether we get access to iron as well. But hey, it seems as good a place as any to embark, so I think we're just going to jump straight into it and go from there. Whew, now that I've said all that, I feel quite good. I feel quite happy that I've said all that. Alright, we've got a bunch of different starts here. You know, there's a bunch of different starts that people have made previously. We're going to prepare for the journey carefully ourselves, though. And I think we're only going to take the most important sorts of dwarves. So obviously we're going to need a woodcutter. And we can make him into a carpenter as well. That seems like a good mix. And you know what? We'll grab a miner, and we'll also make him into a mason. Just if there's anyone in the chat, it's a bit quiet at the moment, but I'm sure more people will turn up eventually. Anybody in the chat, what would you say is like an important sort of profession that you would want to bring with you on a journey to the fortress? You know, you're establishing a new fortress, you're establishing a new civilization, a new part of your hold. Threshing, not really sure about that one. Seems pretty useless to me. I think we'll go with growing. We'll have a grower. We'll need a grower for sure. And you know what? We can also make him a brewer. A lot of you know, it's a pretty good one to have as well. Fish dissecting? Not sure. There probably aren't many fish to dissect here. Although we do have access to a stream, so maybe. Although fish dissecting is actually the most useless skill in the entire sodding game. I am wise to your tricks. You can't trick me that way. Yeah, we'll make you into a brewer. Okay, so we've got a brewer, carpenter, and we've got a brewer, we've got a carpenter, and we've got a grower. You know, a miner. Those are like the three important things. I think we could. I think another really important one might be a soap manufacturer, right? Like someone who makes soap. Soap is might be a really useful thing to have. Do you think? I think it might be useful to have. Maybe we should take a soap maker with us, and we can also make him into a lye maker. Because to make soap, you have to make lye first. In fact, soap is probably the most complicated, one of the most complicated things you can make in Dwarf Fortress because of the steps that you need in order to manufacture it. So you need pressers. We'll get a presser as well. We'll get a soap maker, and you know, we'll get a lye maker. How about we also throw in a butcher? You know what? We'll make this guy a butcher, and he can also be make him a butcher. We need a butcher. He's going to render that. And why don't we make him a cook as well? And over here we can get a presser to press things. We need to have things to be pressed. Where's our presser? Okay, and we can also make the presser into a you know what might be a really useful skill, a skill that we use lots and lots in Dwarf Fortress, that we definitely have used in all of our other previous Dwarf Fortresses that we've built. I think we need a herbalist. Herbalist, that's what we need. Is it herbalist or is it a different skill? I think it's herbalist. I think herbalist is the skill that we're after. Although I can't remember exactly where it is on the sodding list of things. There we go. Herbalist. And we're running out of stuff. Let's get rid of one of our picks, one of our battle axes. We only need one of both. We'll make this guy into a proficient herbalist. And then down here, we just got this leftover guy. So what we got so far? We've got a woodcutter carpenter, a mason miner, we got a grower brewer, a soap maker lye maker, a cook butcher, a herbalist presser. Probably do it with a crafter, to be honest. We could do with a where is it? Stone crafter, wood crafter. And I think that's all we need. I think that is all the skills that you need in order to build a sufficient fortress. A fortress that has everything you need in it. Soap, wood, alcohol, food, all those things. That's what you need for a fortress. But the other thing that we're going to need as well is we're going to need to take some stuff. We don't need to take any of these. It is a sin to take... it is sinful to take anything made out of wood with you to a fortress. 100% a sin. Unless you're going to somewhere where there's no wood. And there is wood here, so there's no point in us taking stuff made out of wood, because we can make wood. What we can't make is cats and dogs, so we need both. We're going to take 1 cat and 1 dog. Well, we'll take 2 dogs and 2 cats, and we'll also take some geese. Geese are good, and we will take 3 geese and 3 gander. And we still got a shed load of points left. We could also take perhaps a... you know what? Why don't we take a ewe and a ram? And then what have we got left? We've got a copper pig and anvil, dwarven ale. We'll just take some more alcohol. You know, alcohol is always good to go. We've got rock nuts. We need rock nuts. We'll take some more ale with us. Okay, so now we need to decide on a name for our fortress. And I think we're going to dedicate this fortress to something that every dwarf can appreciate. There we go. We're going to call this fortress Soapy Fortress. And I think that's good enough for a name. I think that's a good enough name. So let us embark on our journey. I'm going to save this, by the way. We're going to save this as very important loadout. Okay, so that should be saved there, and then we can press embark. And hopefully we've got everything that we need in this fortress to... hopefully we've got everything here that we want in order to make ourselves a beautiful and clean fortress. Emphasis on clean. You have arrived after a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond. Your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all of Feb-on-Tal. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labour comes sustenance. Whether by bolt, plough or hook, provide for your dwarves. You are expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it is spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings ere the dingoes get hungry. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place, Ubeng Shud, Soapy Fortress. Strike the earth. And the game crashed. Okay, that is why you always save your loadouts, because when things like that happen, then we can just go back in, start playing, load up the world. Oh my god. How anticlimactic. I know that's what you're all thinking, like how terribly anticlimactic that is. But that's just the way of the world, unfortunately. Oh my god. At least we got the nice relaxing banished music to make up for the complete failure. Sorry, I'm just kind of waiting for it to, you know, get through to the next part. So that should hopefully not take too long. Rocks fall, everyone down. It wouldn't be a Aristo stream unless something went catastrophically wrong just straight at the start. Right, I don't know if it was because of the starting location. Sometimes that can be it. Sometimes they just really hate the starting location. Or it can... I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm going to move the starting location just a little bit. So we're going to locate here. I mean, it's basically the same area. And we're going to make sure that we're from the arrows and liberating. And we'll embark here. We used the very important loadout, so everything should be the same. Let's try this again. Soapy... Fortress. Done. Embark. I pressed the E button. Oh god, okay, this time we got to watch out ere the lions grow hungry. Nope, there we go, it closed again. Oh my god, okay. Right. We might have to generate a new world. I think that might be the... sometimes that can be the issue. Crashing on Embark. Ah, Dwarf Fortress. Okay, right, okay. So I've just googled real quick, and apparently there is a known bug with this current version of Dwarf Fortress where if you have the okay, this is going to sound really arcane, and we're going to see if this works. But apparently, if you have the game in like full windowed mode, which is how I play it, right? I have the window fully zoomed up because it's supposed to be on stream. Apparently, that can cause it to crash when you try and embark in a new location. So we're just going to keep it really small and scrunched up for a second, and then we're going to try and start the fortress, and we'll see if it works. So that's it for Fortress Friday. Nah, I mean, even if we can't get it to work this way, what I'll do is I'll generate a new world and then we'll try something else. I did have a specific idea in mind for this fortress, but if we need to, I'll just do a generic fortress. I mean, hey, I said I'd stream for 4 hours, right? So 4 hours of streaming is what we're going to get. Oh, it's so difficult to find a location when it's all scrunched up like this. Right, this was it. We'll try here. I mean, that is slightly different than where we were before. Embark here. Very important loadout. I forgot to check which civilization our fortress came from, so we're probably going to be from some god-awful civilization, but that's fine. Soapy. Fortress. Done. Embark. No, okay, it still crashes. Right. God, why does this game hate me so much? Why does it hate me so much? Okay, right, there is one other thing that could be causing the crash, and that might be, could be, right, we're gonna try and build a fortress elsewhere. We'll try and find another fitting location, because it seems that something about this area in particular is just causing us issues, but we'll try elsewhere and see if that works any better. I'm sorry that this has been so anticlimactic. It doesn't matter anyway. There's not many people here anyway, so no one can see the failure. But yeah, we'll figure it out eventually, and then we'll start streaming eventually. Just a matter of time. Can't wait to upload this onto YouTube. 20 minutes of just me talking to myself whilst I try and set up the game. You see, if you're a smart person, you would set up the fortress first, but that's not fun. It's more fun to kind of show the starting location, you know, kind of get an overview of the world, etc. But this game, every release, it gets more and more unstable. I have more and more issues. Okay, I'm just going to maximize the screen because that doesn't seem to make a slicker difference anyway. Right, we'll try. God, I wanted basically a shrubland area. I wanted like a hot shrubland area. We have got tropical shrublands on this continent here, and we do still have the same neighbours. I don't know if we're going to get the same sort of start here, but we'll try. Oh God, I've gone into notes mode. Right, yeah. Yeah, we'll try here. I think we'll just try here. Maybe we'll have all the same sorts of stuff anyway. We'll just bark preparations were not complete. Does that mean that this civilization that we're embarking on does not have no mountain goat sweetbread available? Okay, right. Okay. We'll just take some more cave lobsters with us. Why not? There we go. The starting music sets us down this path of robust game stability. I didn't even change the name of the fortress this time because, again, I just want to see if it'll crash. There you go! Okay, the one time that I didn't change the name of the fortress, it actually worked. So that means that I don't know what the name of our fortress is. I don't know what civilization we're from because I just was not expecting it to work. But hey, it worked, and we've got ourselves a nice new fortress location. And I'm going to bet that because I wasn't able to embark where I wanted to embark, then that means that I don't have the kinds of things that I was after. Because I was after a very specific sort of environment, and this does not look like the right kind of environment, no sir. This looks very far from the right sort of environment, actually. Yeah, I don't see what I'm after here. Oh. Every time, okay. Every time I try and do this, I have the same damn problem every single time, and that is the inability of me to find the exact sort of tree that I'm looking for. Apparently these kind of trees are just very rare in Dwarf Fortress. Seemingly, or rather, maybe the game just crashes whenever I've successfully found them, because I'm not seeing any of them here at all. None. This is the kind of area where they should be spawning. Well, I guess not. Right. Okay. Well, it's gonna complicate things. What were you looking for? Featherwood? Nah, Featherwood's easy to find. Featherwood is anywhere where there's basically for Featherwood, all you're looking for is just areas that are good, right? I was actually looking for olives, believe it or not. I was looking for olive trees, because olive trees are unique compared to any other kind of tree. You can do something with olive trees that you can't do with any other kind of tree, and I was hoping that we would be fortunate enough to get them, but it looks like we are not. Olive trees are supposed to be in any tropical... Actually, this was temperate, wasn't it? This wasn't tropical. This biome is the wrong biome anyway. Right. I'm actually going to abandon this fortress. At least I've confirmed that it's not the world that's broken. But we're going to abandon that fortress to ruin real quick. And then we're going to just try once more to find the location, now that we can confirm that it is not the world, it's just that particular location we were trying in before. Ah, God. We're looking for any dry tropical. Yes, dry tropical, that's correct. I thought I had found a dry tropical then, but I hadn't. I might have gone temperate by accident because I can't read. At least we got the banish music, you know, to remind us of a more stable game. Okay, apparently abandoning the fortress really makes Dwarf Fortress hate itself, but that's fine. So we failed. Our first fortress lies in ruins. We've already we've already failed that. No, the reason we wanted olives is to do with soap. It's because when it comes to making soap, there's 3 ways of making soap. You can make soap from fat. You can make soap from plants, so rock nuts specifically, oils from plants, and third, you can make them from olives. Now, soap made from olives is the easiest out of all 3 to make because it requires 1 less step than the other 2 methods. However, the only tree that produces plants that you can make soap from is olives, and that's why it's kind of a pain in the arse, because you've got to find olives basically. So if you're trying to embark somewhere and you want to make a lot of soap, the best way to do it is to find somewhere with olives, but that's easier said than done sometimes. Right. Yeah, because we're looking for... Yeah, we're looking for tropical dry. I mean, this might be a tropical dry broadleaf forest, perhaps. I'm actually just going to Google that to see if that shows up on Dwarf Fortress. Tropical dry The wiki is such an invaluable resource in this game. This location does not have as much metal as the other areas that we were trying to embark in. So this one might not actually have as much much fauna in there. Okay, trees. And by the way, just because an area can have olive trees, it's not guaranteed to have them. So even if you embark in an area that can have olive trees, it's not guaranteed to have them. The game kind of basically picks a few different trees and kind of rolls with it, as far as I'm aware. Oh, we can't embark here. There are no goblins. Oh god, we can't embark somewhere where there's no goblins. Moist broadleaf. I mean, that's got sand, we've got metals, deep metals. Have we got goblins though? No, just humans and elves. Humans and elves. Is this a world with very few goblins? Oh, this area here's got towers. This area's got like a necromancer tower near to it. You can see the tower there. I don't want to embark next to a tower because that just complicates things too much in my view. Tropical shrubland. Tropical shrubland should have should be an area where you can get olives as well. And that was kind of the area that I was looking for before olives. Yeah, I mean we got the full complement of nasties, dwarves, goblins, humans, elves, everybody hates elves. So yeah, tropical shrubland. We'll try here. We're probably going to find out that like shrublands are bugged and you just can't embark on shrublands. But hey, we'll see how it goes. Oh, let's also not forget to name our fortress. In fact, you know that you know that we can literally just name it Soap. That's just the name of the fortress now. Let's embark. Moist doesn't sound very dry, sir. Yes, that is true, but it still can count, or at least according to the wiki. Well, hey, okay, so this one didn't die on us. We can see here date palm, macadamia, date palm, willows, willow trunks, lime trees, desert lime, date palm, carambola, desert lime. I think there's an easier way for us to check this actually. I know that there's a dwarf hack command that can do it. It can just tell you basically all the resources that are in a particular area. I'm not gonna embark again because I will just go with this because this seems like a decent enough place anyway. Date palms here. Yeah, I'm not having much luck over here. We only need to find one olive tree as well. Only one. What the hell kind of name is Soap? It's a descriptive name. For reasons that will become apparent, that should become painfully obvious once we actually start building this fortress. Alright. Alright, I don't see... What's this? Oh, there's a peregrine falcon. Okay. And there's a falcon over there. I thought that was a dead body. I was like, what the hell? Shouldn't be finding dead bodies in your fortress, right? Like, yeah, these are... Yeah, it looks like we got stiffed again. No olives for us. The quest for oranges has failed once again. That's fine. We're not going to embark anywhere else. We're going to just stick to this fortress because I do want to get into it. I don't want to just spend the entire stream trying to find olive trees. But yeah, in this space... Maybe I should start from the beginning. I should cut out the first part of the stream when I upload this to YouTube. And like give like an inspirational speech at the start. Okay. So, we've come to this fortress. We've come to this location. 7 dwarves, each with a particular skill set, and we're going to build a mighty fortress to stand in this place for all of dwarven kind to come. And we're going to build this fortress out of the sturdiest material known to dwarven kind. I am, of course, referring to soap. We're gonna try and build a new fortress out of soap. We've tried it once before, didn't work very well, but we're gonna try it again. And I'm gonna state some restrictions. So, in order to start the fortress, we are going to have to construct some things out of stuff that isn't soap to begin with, right? That is going to be a necessity. But beyond just the absolute minimum that we need in order to start this fortress, so we need to build a wood furnace, we need to build an ashery, we need to build a kitchen, we need to build a millstone, a screw press, and also the places that we would need in order to make those things. But beyond that, we're going to construct everything out of soap. And I mean everything that we can make out of soap. Cotton is also an option. We've got rock nuts, so you know, even without cotton, that's fine. And we've got rock nuts. Although having cotton as well would also be great. We used cotton when we were making Soap Fortress before, but yeah, we're going to create everything that we can out of soap. And that, by the way, includes our furnaces. We're going to make our furnaces out of soap, and that also means that we're not going to have any access to metal at all until we have figured out a way to make a furnace out of soap that can withstand heat. And it is possible. There are two ways to do it, and we're going to try and do one of them. And this is probably going to be why the fortress fails, because it means we won't have access to metal for a very long time. But we'll attempt it nevertheless. So, this is where we're going to build the fortress. The first thing that we need to do is we need to clear an area where we're going to cut down some trees. And by the way, we're not going to build this fortress underground. We're not going to build this fortress underground. We're going to build it above ground, because what would be the point in building a fortress out of soap underground? Nobody would see it. So this is an above ground fortress made out of soap. We're going to build it here, in the middle of enemy territory, surrounded on all sides by goblins. And by elves, who are worse than goblins. And we're going to do this all here today. So yeah, that is what we're going to be doing. Everything that can be made out of soap will be made out of soap. That means all the walls, all the gates, all the bridges. It'll all be made out of soap. In fact, it's a shame that we can't make more things out of soap. Some people might call this hubris. They might say that I'm deluded, that I'm mad, to want to try and suffer through building a fortress out of soap. You know, like what kind of madman would attempt to do something like this? But I tell you, we're going to try. We're going to fail. But losing is fun. Yep, it is indeed Friday already. Right, so we are going to have to build some things underground. It is going to be necessary to construct some certain things underground. What I was thinking of was that we could channel an area, right? We could channel like a massive area over here, and that could be kind of like a pit, like an open pit, like just a big open pit. And we can channel it right next to the water here. And this is just going to be kind of like a staging ground for the fortress itself. And then going off from the pit, we can have like different rooms that need to be underground. Certain kinds of our farms need to be underground in order to make rock nuts. That being said, you can kind of create a fake. Well, no, it's not really underground. Then it becomes above ground. It doesn't become underground. So yeah. Although we could also just not build. Okay, you know what? We need to set a very important task. We need a very important man to do a very important task for us, and that is going to be our dwarf, who is going to scavenge the area for any and all plants that he can find. We're just going to select a massive area of this, and he's going to scavenge all that. Yes, you can redeem 1,000 channel points to pick a fish in the aquarium. I keep forgetting to disable that. You see, what's really irritating is that Twitch doesn't let you set the channel rewards per category. If you could set them per category, it'd be great, because then I'd just have it so that, you know, Twitch would be like, hey, I see that you're streaming Dwarf Fortress, so you could have all the Dwarf Fortress related things. Can I get a dwarf named? Of course you can get a dwarf named. Everybody is welcome to have a dwarf, but the rules haven't changed. The rules are the same as they always were. One dwarf per fortress, and if you die, That's it. You're out. And Dr. Cat wants a dwarf named as well. We'll get to that soon. I'm gonna get some of the basic stuff done first, but then we'll get to dwarf naming and stuff like that. So that will be done eventually. Hey, welcome Overslot. Welcome to the stream. Can you believe it? We're streaming Dwarf Fortress again. I know, it's incredible, isn't it? And we've got a lot of lazy dwarfs who are hanging around. We're going to make a food stockpile. We're just going to stick it over here. And we're just going to have this massive stockpile over here so that they, when he collects all the seeds and stuff, they'll put them over here. Because we, basically, I want him, we could look around for cotton or whatever plant it is that we want to grow just to see where it is. But the easiest way for us to just do it would be to just have them gather everything in one big place, and then we can check our stock screen. Return to Fortress. We can check our stock screen over here, and then we can see every single kind of plant that we've gathered, and we can see kind of what, get an idea of what sort of things that we could possibly grow. Although we don't have an administrator yet, so we're going to need one of those. Every bookkeeper in my dwarf fortresses are always named Dr. Nitro after a very special streamer who was close to my heart, Dr. Nitro. He is a streamer who streams Zelda games. Occasionally, he's been known to. On occasion. Oh, sometimes he's the queen as well. He has been the queen in the past as well, but other than that, yeah. Right, so we've dug out this massive pit, right? And this is going to be kind of like the entranceway to the fortress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some ramps because I just want it to be kind of... I want there to be very limited ways in and out of this. So for now, I'm going to remove all the ramps except on this side so that they can only get into it from that side. And then we're going to start planting some farms down there. Eventually, we're going to have walls surrounding this entire thing. So yeah, that's how we're going to roll. But for now, we're just kind of making a big pit, making a big hole in the ground. And the other thing that we're going to do is we're just going to start... well, actually, once he's done that, I'm going to build some farm plots down here. We're going to have some above ground farm plots. And then to the side, we'll have our below ground farm plots. Every fortress starts with a hole in the ground, Kel. That's how you build a fortress. The first hole in the ground, that's how the fortress begin. Name a fortress that doesn't begin with a hole in the ground, I dare you. Well, actually, no, I can think of some, but those aren't the kind of fortresses that I usually build. Okay, right. 5x5 plot there, we'll just put that there, and then we'll do the same on this side as well. I'm not going for aesthetics here. This isn't going to be a pretty fortress. So if anybody's expecting me to make this look nice, then I'm sorry, you're going to be incredibly disappointed. This is a fortress designed and, based utility. There's a mountain right here. For all you know, we could be on top of a mountain. We're just instead of building the hole into the side of the mountain, we're building it from the top down. This is open. You don't know that. You don't know that, Cal. You're just making assumptions. How would you know anyway? Right, okay, so this is apparently all the plants that are here, although it says we've got no seeds. Yeah, that'll be right, because we wouldn't have processed anything into... Cotton. We got cotton. Right, so we're gonna definitely be doing cotton. So we need to start growing cotton on one of these. And what else have we got? We've got... Well, it doesn't really matter. We need one that we can just do as a drink, basically. I'm having a look here. What would be the funniest drink that we can make for our dwarves? Fisher berries, pineapple. Can we do pineapple beer? Is that a kind of spirit that you can do? I'm actually going to check and see whether you can do pineapple beer. The idea of a bunch of dwarves living in a tower made out of soap drinking pineapple alcohol, pineapple spirits is really funny to me. Because there's something severely wrong with me is basically what I'm getting at. Oh, radishes. Can we do radishes? Oh, we can do rice. They can have you know, we can have some rice, barley, lettuces. I don't think they can have lettuce wine. Cucumber wine. It doesn't really matter. You know what? It doesn't really matter. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna leave it at that. Let's see what we've got over here. So over here we've got some. We've got some remains of some stuff. Pump helmet spawn bags. Have they not? Have we actually gathered anything? I mean, this guy's... What are you carrying, Atesh? I always forget how to check that. It's been so long since I played. Yeah, it's V, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. Right, inventory. Oh, God, look. Yeah, we've got rope reed, ratweed. Oh, he's carrying all of them at the same time. Excellent. Does he have cotton on there? No, I didn't see any cotton. Let's just grow rice. We'll grow rice. Rice is efficient. My fortresses start on open plains with one tower and a very long vertical stairwell. I mean, that's one way to do it. I like to do long stairwells as well. But this fortress is mostly going to be above ground, other than the parts that require being underground, basically. But yeah, we can see that we've collected a sizable amount of various different things, and we're just going to brew as much of this into alcohol as we can. So the first thing that we need to build is we need to build a brewery. Although, strictly speaking, we shouldn't build a brewery, because I did say that I was going to build everything that I could build out of soap. So actually, we should only build the things that are strictly necessary in order to make the first bar of soap. So in order to make soap, we need to start by making. We need a wood furnace. So we need a wood furnace. We need to have, and we'll also need a fire-safe material to make the wood furnace out of. So we will need to dig down in order to get a rock. And then we need to get an ashery, which will require a bucket as well. I don't think we brought a bucket with us, so we might have to make a bucket. So we'll need a craft dwarf workshop. Then we'll need a kitchen. So we'll need a butchery room. Or alternatively, we'll need a millstone and a screw press. Although you can't make millstones out of soap. Millstones can only be made out of rocks anyway. You can't make one out of soap. So it's not cheating to make one out of rocks. It's only cheating if you can make it out of soap. That's the rule. So we're going to start by building some stairs downwards. And, you know, we'll just... You know what? I just realised. I want this to be like in the middle, but I don't actually know where the middle is. I guess there's an easy way to find out, and that would be to just do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, because then, because this is 5 by 5 on here, right? So if we do this on either side, then we can find out where the middle is. Then we can say that the middle is. Or we could just do a ramp. We could have a ramp going even further down. But the middle would be here, wouldn't it? Yeah. So that's the middle. That's the middle of the area. So we could just do it like that, and I think that's fine. Yeah, and we'll dig down. We've got to find some metal. We do have to mine down at least a little bit in order to find metals, but everything else will be above ground. I'm going to get rid of these 2 farm plots. I only needed them there to just check and see where the middle was. I dare you to only use nut oil soap, none of this. No, we're going to use a variety of soap because, like, one of the things that's entertaining is to try and is to see what kind of awful things we can make out of just different kinds of soap. I remember that in the first time I made Soap Fortress, I remember we had one of the bridges was made out of black gibbon soap. So so basically an elf. Some of the elf traders, they bought some black gibbons with them. Oh, bauxite. Bauxite's a nice colour metal stone. It's red, I think. Bauxite. Yeah, nice colour. But yeah, they brought with them some like really crazy animals when they were trading with us. So we made some really weird looking soaps. It's kind of what I'm getting at. Well, not weird looking. All soap looks the same in Dwarf Fortress, but weirdly named soaps, I guess. So that's what we'll do again today. We'll have some awful, you know. And then that way you can also remember where everything is. Also, it looks like we've hit our first metal sphalerite. I can't remember what sphalerite makes, but I know that it's basically worthless. Or at least I'm pretty sure it's basically worthless. Unless it's iron, in which case it isn't. God, I can't remember even how to spell sphalerite. I'm trying to search it in the Dwarf Fortress wiki to see what it creates. Oh, tetrahedrite, that's fine. Alright, we got tetrahedrite. That means we can make, I think we can make steel. Yeah, because it's got marble as well. So we can make steel. You might also be able to hear the dog barking in the background a little as well. She's excited. She's as excited as I am at this discovery. Right, so we got marble, we got some good stuff there. But I was only digging down just so that I could make some stuff out of... because one of the things we need to do is we need to set up a small little bit industry. So first we're going to build ourselves a... First thing we build... where is it? Not there. Furnaces. That's cabinet, isn't it? Oh god, it's been so long since I played. I can't remember. Oh yeah, furnaces is what E. So we build a wood furnace. A wood furnace is not a furnace made out of wood. For the uninitiated, it's a furnace that burns wood, and we'll just build that along the side here, and that just needs to be made out of. It doesn't mean marble. We'll make it out of bauxite. So bauxite. We make the wood furnace out of bauxite, and then we need to make an ashery. So we will do that as well. Ashery. Workshops. We need exactly one ashery, so we need blocks, empty barrel, and a lye milk free bucket. So we need to. That means we also need a carpenter's workshop. We'll build a carpenter's workshop. We'll just, I don't know, we'll just place it on this side here. And we need a crafts dwarf workshop in order to make the blocks. We'll build that there. And then we need a butcher's workshop. And then we need a soap maker's workshop. Well, we need a bucket first, but then we make a soap maker's workshop. Okay, so we're not going to butcher any of our animals yet, although we do need to pasture some of our animals because we got some, I believe we brought some sheep with us. So I'm just going to build a big pasture over here, and we're going to pasture well, we've got yak cows as well. We'll probably just butcher those for an early bit of soap, but we're going to pasture them over here now just so that they don't starve to death. And then we've got everything else done, so that's done there. Carpenter's crafts dwarf, wood furnace. Oh, we need architecture, right? So we need to assign somebody to be an architect. Okay, so now I'm going to be opening Dwarf Therapist in order to assign an architect. So if people want to have dwarves, now is the time to say so, because I'm going to be assigning dwarves to have different tasks. So there are 7 dwarves. That means we can have 7 dwarves named after people. So if you want to have a dwarf, say so now. Whilst I'm doing this, or use the handy channel points thing. Avenue Phil wants to have a dwarf. What kind of dwarf do you want? You can be a farmer, a different kind of farmer, a different kind of farmer, a miner, a craftsman, a woodworker, or a different kind of farmer. Avenue Phil wants to be the soap maker. Ah, you jammy guy. Of course you take the soap maker, the most important position in this fortress. Avenue Phil, the soap maker, is our first dwarf. Battleship How and Dr. Kelt are redeeming the wrong kind of channel points. This isn't Mega Aquarium. This is Dwarf Fortress. Let me guess. I haven't enabled the. I haven't actually enabled the commands. Have I? All right, I'll go enable them right now. Ugh, God. Why is this so much bloody work? Why does Twitch make me do all these... Oh my god, what... God, Christ. Yeah, alright. I'm doing it now. Manage rewards. I have to go through like 5 different screens in order to get to the right place. Alright, no more picking fish. Okay, in fact, you're not going to be able to design engravings or custom statues because we can't make statues yet. But yeah, okay. Hopefully that should have updated. I doubt it has. I demand a refund. Your points weren't used because I didn't accept the request. No, they haven't been wasted. Anyway, what would you use the channel? No, they weren't. Anyway, it's your own fault. It's your own bloody fault. Okay, so Avenue Phil wants a dwarf. Dr. Cal, what kind of dwarf do you want? Stop whining. What kind of dwarf do you want? He doesn't even know. Okay, how? What kind of dwarf do you want? No, we don't. There are 7 dwarves in the fortress. None of them are nobles. None of them. Like, nobles are something that happens later. The expedition leader does not count. The expedition leader does not count at all. People who say the expedition is a noble does not count. No. You see, the expedition leader doesn't count because the expedition leader actually does labor. He actually does things. Nobles, by definition, are worthless. The expedition leader isn't. Okay, so Hal wants to have a farmer. That's fine. You can be the actual farmer. So yeah, let's just go with Hal. We'll just go with Hal. That's easier. Sorry, Kel, you were too late. I mean, technically, I've got 4 farming dwarves. It's just that only one of them actually grows crops. The others do different kinds of farming tasks. Because a lot of the stuff that we do is farming in one sense or another. Anyway, I'm going to appoint all my dwarves to be architects for the time being, just so that they can get architecture tasks done quickly. Because we won't have many architecture tasks anyway. And now let's go with our next soundtrack. Dr. Kel will take whatever. You're very lucky that we don't have any elves, else I would have named an elf after you. You know what? You can be the miner. You can be the miner, the least important person in Soap Fortress. Like in other fortresses, miners are prestigious. It's a prestigious job, but in this one, in the fortress made out of soap, the man who mines rocks isn't that useful. So yeah, you can be the miner. How many named dwarves am I on? I've got 3 named dwarves at the moment. We've got Dr. Kel, Avenue Phil, and Hal. Elves in DF are weird green filthy things, aren't they? They're not green, but they are filthy, and they live in trees and they're short. They're about the same size as a dwarf, except generally speaking a lot thinner. So yeah, they're absolutely abhorrent nightmare creatures that you would want nothing to do with. Certainly not any self-respecting dwarf. Right, so let's remove that. So we need to start by making some. Well, first of all, we need to make some buckets. We're going to need some buckets. And we're going to need some barrels. And we're going to need some rock. Where is it? We want some rock blocks. Actually, no. We need some jugs. We need some rock jugs. Jugs is a real pain in the arse, I remember now. I remember how much of a pain in the arse that was. And then we also need to have... We're going to have to make a masons as well. Although, actually, we should be able to make blocks here. We should be able to make wooden blocks here, I think. Pedestal, shield, bucklers, barrels. God, where do blocks go again? Make wooden crafts, cups, bolts, jugs, pots, pans, dice, scepters. Make totems. I can't remember where blocks are made. It's been so long since I've played this game. It's just gone. The memory has gone. Oh my god. I can't believe I have to look up where you make blocks. It's yeah, we should be able to make them in a carpenter's workshop. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. Craft, construct wooden barrel, shield, instrument piece. Why can't I see it? Have I just gone blind? Have I like oh, there it is. Yeah, I can see it. Okay, yeah, I found it. Right, I have just gone blind. There we go. We need some wooden blocks as well. Right. There you go. So all of our dwarves have got tasks for the time being. Yeah, elves in Dwarf Fortress are also cannibals. They cannibalize the dead. They specifically they'll eat fallen enemies in wars. So a dwarf, an elf will consider it acceptable to eat. An elf will consider it acceptable to eat enemies that fall in battle. Although ethics in Dwarf Fortress are set by culture, so it's cultural ethics. So a dwarf who is part of an elvish civilization will also consider it acceptable to eat people. It's just the elfish culture basically. It's kind of weird. It's a weird system. I mean, culture. God, there's a lot that's weird about Dwarf Fortress. We should check and see what our dwarves are like actually in more detail in a bit. Especially our named dwarves. What's Howie like? She feels fondness talking with a friend, satisfied at work, euphoric due to inebriation, annoyed after having a drink without using a goblet, cup, or mug. She likes granite, steel, harlequin opals, backpacks, figurines, giant damselflies for their coloration, and the words of the West Wanderer. When possible, she prefers to consume giant cockatiel, kangaroo cheese, cranberry wine, and bitter vetch leaves. She absolutely detests purring maggots. Who do you worship? Doesn't say. She's very rarely jealous, apparently. We can actually check who she worships this way. Relationships. Nokar. Who's Nokar? Nokar is the deity of the sabers of defense. Nokar most often takes the form of a female dwarf and is associated with suicide. Okay. Is this masterwork? No, it is not masterwork. I don't. Dwarf Fortress is enough going on that I don't like messing with the mods. It tends to create a lot of instability, at least in my experience. So I just tend to stick to the sort of base game, if that makes sense. Okay, so we got that. Right, now we also need to make a soap maker's workshop. Well, we need to make an ashery rather. So we will make. Oh, we need blocks. Have we not built blocks yet? Okay, as soon as we build some blocks, we'll be able to make the ashery. Alright, well, we'll just put it there. That's fine. We're making the ashery there. So we should have everything that we need now to start the fortress. For those of you who are just joining us, this is a fortress where we're trying to build as much of it out of soap as possible. So the first workshops that we're building are the bare minimum number of workshops that we need in order to produce the first soap block. After we have started making soap, we are only going to be making workshops out of soap. Because you can make workshops out of soap. So yeah, we are just... This is literally going to be the bare minimum that we need in order to produce a bar of soap. Then once we got the bar of soap, we can take it from there. So in terms of that, what we have got is an ashery, a soap maker's workshop, a butcher's workshop, a wood furnace, a carpenter's workshop, and a craftsdwarf's workshop. No, this is a stream. You can see the stream here, or a brook rather. We could breach the brook and flood the fortress at any time if we wanted to. Not that we would want to. Okay, so that should be everything that we need in order to do it. The last thing that we need then in order to make our first bar of soap, because soap is made from mixing tallow or oil with lye, so we need to make tallow or oil. So we can make tallow, we can make lye, and now we just need to make soap. So first of all, in order to make lye, we're going to need to in order to make lye, we're going to need to go to our ashery, and we're going to start making lye. Oh, well, actually, first we need to make ash. So, right, we don't do that at the ashery, do we? Potash, no. We do that at the wood furnace. So, first of all, we make ash. Ash is the first step in order to make it. Ash is also a bar, so we're going to be making a stockpile over here, and we'll just make it. We'll just make a basic stockpile. And we're just going to make this on the surface as well. Forbid. Other than ash and soap. So this is going to be where all those go. And that's going to just be on the corner here. Just kind of like a stockpile for those, so that we've got plenty of that. So our first dwarf, who is our wood burner, wherever he is. We should have a wood burner, unless I haven't assigned one yet. Wood burner. No, I don't have a wood burner. I didn't think to assign one. Kelt is our cook and butcher. He can be our wood burner as well. He burns wood. Congratulations, Kelt. You've got a new job. So he's going to go and he's going to start burning wood, turning it into ash. So you can see him here. He's currently working in there just to make as much ash as possible. Eventually, what we're going to do is, when we got ourselves a manager, we're going to use work orders in order to basically make it so that we don't have to do as much finagling in order to get this process done. So that we just got a constant stream of soap being manufactured at all times. Because we're going to make all of our walls out of soap, all of our tower, you know, it's all going to be soap, all soap. So yeah, it's a lot of soap that we're using. Right, so once we made the ash, we then turn the ash into lye. So we then need to start making lye, and we do have a lye maker, so we're just going to set all of these tasks to making lye. I believe lye requires buckets. Lye is something that is contained in buckets, which means that we also need more buckets. Although we can move it into a barrel. Why are they starving? Starving? They shouldn't be starving. They should actually not be starving. Set pen and pasture. Alright, I'm kind of worried about that. They shouldn't be starving. There should be plenty of stuff for them to eat there. Oh, is nobody pasturing them? No, they're there. They're in the pasture. Or at least I think they are. Oh my god. Okay. This is one of the stupidest embark glitches that I know of. When sometimes when you embark in a location, your animals can get stuck in trees. So our goat and one of our yak cows is stuck in the tree. So we're going to have to cut down the trees to rescue them from the tree, basically. What will happen when it rains? You misunderstand, my good friend. Dwarven soap is not as susceptible to water as pathetic human soap. So we just cut down the tree. The goat comes tumbling out of it. It's not the goat, sorry. The sheep comes tumbling out of it. He's a bit hurt, but he'll recover. Just so long as he doesn't starve to death in the tree. Oh my god. Yeah, no, dwarven soap is immune to water. Water does not affect it. Soap is one of the strongest materials that dwarves... Nah, it's not a strong material, it's just yeah, it's just the rules of dwarven physics. You see, once the soap has been manufactured into a wall, then all the standard rules about walls apply. Dwarven soap is indeed magma proof under certain conditions. Walls made out of soap are magma proof because all walls are magma proof. You got to understand, dwarves are so good at making walls that the only thing that can destroy a dwarven wall, the only thing that can get rid of a wall that's been made by a dwarf is another dwarf. That's how good they are at making walls. Not goblins can't tear them down, elves can't tear them down, humans can't tear them down. The only thing that can destroy a dwarven wall is another dwarf, no matter what it's made out of. Perhaps with the exception of ice. Under particular circumstances, ice can melt, and that's probably the only one. Other things made out of by dwarves, they're not as strong. So, for example, if you made you can't make a furnace out of soap, except you can. You see, there is a way to do it if you know what you're doing. But we'll get to that when we'll get to that mountain when we cross it. There is a way to make a furnace out of soap, and we're going to attempt it. This is going to be fun, with capital F, capital U, capital N, and plenty of exclamation marks, that kind of fun. Alright, we need to make a lot of wooden buckets. And we need to make a lot of barrels as well, but we'll make the buckets first. Do you want me to spoil it? Do you want me to just spoil the way that you do it? Because it'll be very fun to watch, but it'll be a while before we attempt it, so I'm happy to tell you guys how I intend to do it. Avenue Phil doesn't want to hear this. Oh. That's unfortunate, because I was ready to tell you, but Avenue Phil doesn't want to hear it, so now I'm not going to. And he is one of my subscribers, and I have to do what my subscribers say. Otherwise, how do you intend to keep subscribers, right? No, I don't want to make potash. Potash. Making potash from lye is the one of the most worthless labors in this game, because you make lye from ash, and you can also make potash from ash. So there is almost never a circumstance where you would want to make potash out of lye. Ashtesh Lisht Kulet has become an expedition leader. Congratulations to him. Right, okay, so now that we've got the lye that's been manufactured, so in order to make soap we need lye and tallow. That means we're going to have to get some tallow from somewhere. One place that we can get tallow from is by butchering animals. Now, we have two animals that I'm happy to butcher immediately, and those are the yak cows. Specifically because we don't really need them. We don't have a breeding pair. They're both female, so we can't breed them anyway. So we're happy to butcher them because we're not going to be able to get more of them anyway. So we might as well just kill them. But yeah, so we're going to make some tallow. I just need to check because I'm pretty sure that tallow is made in it. Yeah, we actually need to make a kitchen as well. That's the one thing that I neglected to do. So we need to manufacture a kitchen. Manufacture a kitchen. You don't manufacture kitchens, you just construct one. Here we'll have to make a kitchen as well. That's the last workshop that we need in order to make soap. There's Kelt making his kitchen. Now that the kitchen's been made, we'll be ready to start actually producing. So we've got lye, we've got the kitchen, so now we need to set an order to butcher one of our cows. So let's butcher this yak cow. So Kelt is going to go and butcher it. Also, I think our food stockpile looks like it's going to be pretty full, so I'm going to make a new stockpile over here. Because again, I just want to make sure that everything that we make soap with is stored in pretty close to place. So we're going to make a food stockpile here. We're going to forbid everything. And then we're going to enable all kinds of fat. Every single kind of fat in the game, we're going to enable that to be here. So if we ever find a dog of Iton, or a Knight's Beast, or a diseased intendant, or a guardian of Bactor, or a Wardoom, or a warring angel, then we will be able to make soap out of those. By the way, this is you can see that there's a lot of different kinds of boogeymen and nightmares. Trolls of Twilight, Baying Troll Fat, Slug Monster Fat, Snail Demon Fat, Lizard Monster Fat, Hill Titan Fat, Bear Brutes Fat, Forest Titan Fat, Marsh Titan Fat, Forgotten Beast Fat. A lot of Forgotten Beast Fats, in fact. So yeah, we can do that. We'll also store pastes in this stockpile here, and we'll also store. We're not going to store press cakes. Press cakes take up too much space. We will store linseed oil, hemp seed oil, cottonseed oil, Knaff oil, and rock nut oil, and olive oil. Although I don't think we'll ever get any olive oil. Lye, we'll store that here. And I think that's everything. That should be everything that we need to store there. So we have a stockpile specifically for that, and we will build that stockpile kind of adjacent to the other stockpile. What's the clip? What's the clip?
Strategy stream, we're going to have the grandest strategy of all. I'm going to have a talk show with myself, Euristocrat, the Moni English git, Helden, the flat cap wearer, and Fan of Gaming, the Greek architect.
Oh Christ! how awful of him to say these horrible things about me after everything that I've done for him, which is precisely nothing, because I don't think I've ever really done anything for him. I helped him through Left 4 Dead. Not last week. Last week I helped him through Left 4 Dead. Not very well, mind you. I don't always moan. Sometimes I ramble. Sometimes I get angry. But I don't always moan. But the point is, Cal, is that I was there for him, alright? No, who am I kidding? This is all going to fall on deaf ears anyway. Right, has it been butchered? Yes, it has been butchered. Right. So we got the skin, we got the hair, we got the cow bones and all that other jazz. Render fats. Did we actually do the render fat task? Because I wasn't paying attention. I think that's fats over here, right? Yak tallow. Right, we've got 9 bits of yak tallow. Right. So we should have everything that we need now in order to make soap from tallow. So we're going to start that. And that'll mean we'll have 9 bars of soap. Alright. Okay, let's, but that's fine. The soap is being produced. Our soap maker, where is he actually? Oh, Avenue Phil is our soap maker, but he's currently making lye. Once he's finished making the lye, he'll be able to make the soap, and then we'll be ready to go. Alright, there we go. Yes, we're finally acquired. Well, we're finally acquiring the first bar of soap. You can see him now. Here he is, putting the finishing touches on the first bar of dwarven soap. Did you see it? And there he is, delivering it to the stockpile. The first bar of soap in the fortress, yak soap. The first kind of soap that we're going to make in the fortress. And now that we've unlocked yak soap, that means that we can build the first workshop that we need in order to sustain a dwarven fortress. And it should be obvious to nobody. It should be obvious to everybody exactly what kind of soap I'm referring to, what kind of building I'm referring to. the brewery, because of course, right? Like the most important thing you need is a brewery, so we're gonna make that out of yak soap. Hey Dennis, welcome, and hey Jake, welcome. It's going fine. We're building another soap fortress. We're making a fortress out of soap. The miner led Ash Teshirash and the farmer Dr. Kelt have married. Wait, I thought I named the miner Dr. Kelt. Why is the farmer named Dr. Kelt? Ah, whatever. Dr. Kelt can be a farmer now. Hey, Ganaffle, do you want to be a miner? We don't have any soap makers spare at the moment. We only have one soap maker in the fortress. Although we will get some more as soon as the brew drinks from plant. Why can't we do that? Okay, we don't have any food storage items, right. That's fine, we just need to start making some pots. We're going to make some pots out of wood. I mean, we could actually make them, we could make barrels instead of pots. It doesn't really make any difference. Usually I make pots out of rock, because then there's just like a source of, pots don't tend to get used for as much as barrels do. So, you know, you'll have a lot of pots this way. Yeah, we'll get some migrants for sure. They might not be soap makers when they get here, but by the time they leave, they definitely will be. How many bars of soap do we have then? We should have 9 bars of soap. We've already used 1 bar of soap. That means that we can comfortably accommodate. Okay, so I don't want to cook any of these. No cooking on any of these. So we've got ratweed, prickleberries, plump helmets, longland grass, fisherberries, rice plants, rope reeds, and white yam plants. Okay, rope reeds that we can actually make into soap. That's good. And in terms of drinks, that's fine. And all of these things, we're happy to cook those things as well. So I think what we'll do is we're going to start getting Kelt to produce some easy. You know what? He can produce some fine meals. Why not? We'll get him to start producing some fine meals over here. Also, if you haven't noticed already, none of our dwarves have anywhere to sleep. None of them have any beds, because we still haven't actually built any structures yet. We could dig underground and place some beds underground for them, but I feel like that's kind of cheating. So I'm not going to do it. We're going to do it all above ground. But now that we've got that... Hey, thanks for the host, Jake. I don't know... That's good. Oh my god, I'm going to have to explain everything that I'm doing again to all these people who just showed up. But yeah, thanks for the host. We're making a fortress out of soap. In Dwarf Fortress. We're trying to make a fortress out of soap. I don't think we'll succeed, but we're going to try it. So far, we have built a hole in the ground that's got 2 empty farms in it, and a bunch of wooden workshops, and that's about it. But we have also manufactured some soap, so that's going to be the start of our soap fortress. And I think the next thing that we need, in order to get new kinds of animals, in order to produce more kinds of soap, is we're going to need a trade depot. We are going to be trading with elves. I know how people think, and you know how I feel about trading with elves. Right, but in this instance, we're gonna do it. We're gonna trade with the elves for a little bit. So we're gonna make a trade depot, and we're gonna make it out of yak soap. The best material to make a trade depot out of is yak soap. So there we go. Our miner is currently, you know, he's moving all that wood out of the way. He's going to build it here. Dr. Kelt has cooked a masterpiece. That's excellent. And hopefully we'll get some migrants soon. It's almost winter. We should get some migrants soon. We also need to get a broker because we don't have a broker at the moment. Yeah, they can access the trade depot. So yeah, we've got ourselves a beautiful trading depot. We've got ourselves the still where we can manufacture some drinks. So let's start brewing drinks from plants. And we'll just do that on repeat in order to get some seeds. And once we've got some seeds, we can then start making some... God, what was I going to say? It doesn't matter, because the migrants have arrived. We can start growing some plants. That's what I was going to say. Okay, let's see how many migrants we got. I'm going to let them all come onto screen first, and then I'm going to check. So it doesn't look like we got that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's pathetic. We've got a woodcutter, a fishery worker, a beekeeper, a herbalist, and a shearer. None of them particularly useful. I think so. I think one of them's brought a pet with them as well. I saw a pet following after one of them. Although I don't see where that pet is. Is that it? Is that actually it? Did we just get 5 dwarves in that migrant wave? Yes, we did. Alright, none of them are actually very good at their jobs. So I think that we're gonna be making. I think we could find our first set of new soap makers actually. So first of all, we'll have let's see, fishery worker. We don't need a fishery worker. You're gonna become a soap maker. So we're gonna get you on soaping and lye making. That's gonna be your jobs. And I will name him Gnaffle because Gnaffle wanted to have a soap maker. So there we go. We've also got a animal trainer and small animal dissector, who's also a farmer. I mean, they've got some skills in farming already. I'm going to let them retain shearing because we actually do have some sheep, so we will need that shearing occasionally. But I'm going to assign them to be a new farmer and also a brewer, so that they're going to do brewing and farming. So that's fine. We've then got this dwarf here who is a herbalist, a plant gatherer. We already have a plant gatherer, we don't really need another one. You can be a... probably wouldn't hurt to have a second carpenter, but I don't think we need one right now. We got the soap maker here, we need another wood burner. Especially because Celt is... We'll have a wood burner and a lye maker. And this dwarf here can be a presser and a lye maker, just so that we've got all those things being covered all the time. This last dwarf here is a woodcutter. He can stay a woodcutter, although I don't need an animal caretaker really. He's also a gelder and a potash maker and a brewer and a tanner and a fish dissector. Tanning is actually not that bad here. We could do with some tanning, although I'm going to make you into a woodcutter tanner, and you can also do carpentry as well because why not? There you go. I've assigned all those dwarves. Okay, what kind of dwarf do you want, Jake? We've got miners, woodcutter. Well, yeah, we've got a miner, a woodcutter, a woodworker, a crafts dwarf, a beekeeper. Although he's not going to be a beekeeper for long. We've got the expedition leader. We've got a herbalist, and we've got the shearer. Those are the dwarves that we got. You can't make statues out of soap, Gnaffle, unfortunately. No combat. We are not in a position to have combat dwarves at the moment. It's going to be a while before we need them as well. We will be defending ourselves using walls, you know, as every coward does. But it's basically the only way that we can defend ourselves. You want to be the woodcutter? That's fine. Woodcutters are useful. Dennis wants to be the shearer wolf. Yeah, you can all have a dwarf. Let me just pause the game real quick whilst I do that. Okay, you can be the newly... Jake, you can be the newly arrived woodcutter. He's a woodcutter and a tanner, so he tans levers as well. And we got Dennis Wolf, who wants to be the shearer, so yeah, you can be the shearer. We're probably going to get a guild request soon, actually. We've got a lot of farming dwarves, so we're going to get a guild request soon. Okay, like all of these dwarves, they live outside, like all the time. They all stink. They're not using that soap to. They're not using that soap in order to clean themselves. They're using it to build. Golden Deer wants to be a beekeeper. Yeah, well, he's not a beekeeper, but he is temporarily a beekeeper, so yeah, you can be the beekeeper. Yeah, the woodcutter is the closest thing that we have to a military dwarf. I think you've got like a copper. You probably got like a copper one there. Okay, so more importantly, we can start growing rice. So we're going to start growing rice all through the year. Above ground plants, by the way, are ridiculously powerful in Dwarf Fortress because you can grow them year round. So we can actually grow rice even in winter. What's the OST? The OST is Age of Empires 2 at the moment. Before this, I was playing the Stronghold 1, but at the moment we're playing Age of Empires 2. I thought we had some... Have we finished brewing, or did we run out... We probably ran out of... Yeah, we didn't. We finished brewing there, yeah. We still got plenty of food. Stocks... We need to get some administrative dwarves as well. Right, I want to grow rope root reeds, so I'm going to say that they're only allowed to brew rope reeds. When our dwarf brews any of these plants, he gets seeds. He gets the seeds from the plant by brewing them. So we have to have him brew the plants that we gathered first in order to then get the seeds from them. So I need him to get the rope reed seeds. Rope reed can be made into soap, which is why I want to make sure that I'm growing that as well. We can't make rice soap, but we need to have like a crop that we can grow in order to make food, and a crop that we can grow in order to make soap. So that's kind of what we're doing there. We have rock nuts as well, so we could potentially make rock nuts. The only thing about rock nuts is that they grow underground, and I want to minimize the stuff that we do underground as much as possible. This is going to be an open air fortress, and I'm pretty committed to the idea, so I don't really want to, you know, have to go and do all that kind of stuff. We need empty storage items. Yeah, we're going to have this big problem because we use a lot of barrels, basically. A lot of the things that we use in this fortress require barrels in order to store them. So we're just constantly going to have to make barrels. And we could also make some pots as well. So I'm going to start making some pots out of... I'm not going to make rock pots. They're too heavy to carry. So we'll make them here. Oh, the other thing that we could also do with making is some bins, and I'm going to start making some new workshops soon as well. But before we do that, I'm going to butcher another one of my animals. We're going to butcher this yak cow, and we're going to start making the rest of the soap. So let's, now that we got everything that we need in order to have a soap industry, I'm going to start setting tasks up to be automated. So we're going to start by making lye all the time. We're also going to start by making... ash all the time, so we're just constantly making lye and then making ash and then making that into lye, and then we can mix that with tallow in order to make soap. Yeah, Avenue Phil is cancelling that order though because he doesn't have ash, so we have to wait until we got ash first. The other thing that we need to do is we need to make an area for our geese. Geese are going to be another excellent source of soap. Believe it or not, geese are a very useful source of soap in the fortress, generally speaking. So we need to make sure that we're getting plenty of soap from them.
Thank you very much.
Baron Von Porn, thanks for following. Barons in Dwarf Fortress are notoriously useless. I'm not even kidding. They serve absolutely no purpose whatsoever. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Oh, sorry, I should have said pwn. Is that how I should have said it? I think it would be a pretty poor excuse for a dwarf. Fair enough. Yeah, dwarf nobles are mostly useless. They don't do jobs. Can you guillotine the barons? No. Dwarves do not have guillotine technology. They have lava technology, so dwarves have the technology to pump lava from beneath the ground onto the surface and potentially dump it. Thanks for the follow from Status. Status? But thanks for following anyway. But yeah, you can potentially pump lava on top of the noble dwarf and drown him in lava. That's always like one option. Or, alternatively, you can drop rocks on top of him. That's another one, if you want to get rid of a noble. I've played fortresses before where I've had like a volcano, right? And because dwarf children are particularly useless in Dwarf Fortress as well. Like dwarf children are a waste of resources. They take too long to become adults. They take 12 years to become an adult dwarf. It takes 12 years. So one way to get rid of them is to have a bridge precariously over the top of your volcano, and then when the dwarf child walks on top of the bridge, it accidentally rises up so that the dwarf child just plummets into the lava below. That is a very efficient method of getting rid of dwarf children. One of the benefits of doing that is that if you kill dwarves in lava, then there won't be a corpse, which is very important. I'm sorry, I know that this is really morbid, but this is honestly useful information to know about this game. The reason why that is useful is because if there's no corpse, then none of the dwarves who are friends with that dwarf who died can get upset about the fact that that dwarf has died. Because they'll think that the dwarf is missing, right? The outpost liaison has arrived. We don't have anything to trade. We could start making some crafts, I think. How are we doing on pots and things? What are we making over here? We'll start making some rock crafts. I think we've got some. Yeah, we'll make some. We got some marble, so we'll make some marble crafts, and then we can sell those. And we'll also make some bins. So let's make a. We need to make some bins as well. Bins are really useful. Oh yeah, it's also extremely important on evil biomes. Who was that one dwarf we tried to kill off by sending him on his own to an elf or goblin camp, and he returned with a trophy, so he decided he's actually a hero instead? Yes, that was in Tin Fortress. So Tin Fortress was a fortress where the only metal that we had was tin. The only metal in Tin Fortress was tin. That was by accident, by the way. I didn't set out to have a fortress where the only metal was tin. So Tin Fortress only had tin. But we wanted to go to war with the goblins because we had no access to metals other than tin. So one way to get metals other than trading for them is to kill goblins and then smelt down whatever junk the goblins were carrying with us. Unfortunately, we were at war with the goblins, but they just never showed up. They never showed up for a fight. So in order to get the goblins to come to us, we had to go to them first. So I picked one dwarf with no skills, no armor, no weapons, just one dwarf by himself. I named him Sacrifice. That was his name, Sacrifice the dwarf. And we sent him out into the world in order to go and provoke the goblins into attacking us. The idea is that he'd pop up at the fortress. He'd pop up at the dwarf stronghold, the goblin stronghold. I don't know, like maybe run at it. Presumably like fall over and just like die. And then the goblins would want to attack us because we'd attack them first. But Sacrifice the dwarf was no ordinary dwarf because he didn't just attack the goblin stronghold by himself. A goblin stronghold that had 100 goblins in it. Sacrifice the dwarf, if I remember correctly, I think he killed 5 goblins in his attack. 5 goblins by himself, right? And he survived. He raided the place, and not only did he raid the place, but he came back with a trophy. And you know what his trophy was? What? Okay, if you're gonna raid a goblin fortress, what kind of trophy would you bring back? What kind of thing would you bring back? Like, just have a guess. Like, what kind of artifact would you steal from the goblins? Because, I mean, you know, that's like an important question, right? A goblin ear? The 80 viewers already. Nah, that's just because Jake very kindly hosted me. A skull, a table, none of those things. He brought back a cabinet. He carried an entire cabinet made out of rock. Like a boulder that had been carved into a cabinet, and he carried it with him all the way back to our fortress. Yeah, and that was Sacrifice the dwarf. I mean, after a feat like that, you can't just, you know, like imagine like running into a goblin stronghold and stealing a cabinet. Like a massive cabinet and carrying it through the wilderness back to the fortress and just dropping it in front of, I don't know, like the king of the fortress or whatever, and being like, I've returned with this loot. Yeah, we put the cabinet into a temple. We made a temple out of tin, and then we put the cabinet into the temple. So yeah, that was from. None of our dwarves have any broken ship skill. Oh, that sucks. None of them have any appraisal skill whatsoever. Ask Tesh, our expedition leader, can do it temporarily. Okay, move goods. Oh no, that was in a different fortress, Old Freeport. That was in the other fortress. It was another fortress where the first artifact that was made in the fortress was an animal trap made out of wood that was worth basically nothing. But for years in that fortress, every couple months, an elf adventurer would show up and be like, "We demand that you return the artifact to its rightful resting place in our forest home retreat." And we just kept killing the elves in the corridor. So yeah, that was it was a wooden animal trap. I think it was made out of coffee wood, or something along those lines. But yeah, it probably had some really awful engraving on it as well. Okay, so we're going to sell some of these marble stuff that we got. We just got some marble figurines. We got some jugs, but we need the jugs. So we're going to keep those. We got a marble ring, a marble figurine of an ember wraith, a marble scepter, a marble figurine of Area Lovedrains. What a name! Who is Area Lovedrains? This is an image. This item is a superiorly designed image of Area Lovedrains the elf and Urvad Palace Martyrs the dwarven marble, by Minkot Kedilrang. Area Lovedrains is devouring Urvad Palace Martyrs. The artwork relates to the devouring of the dwarf Urvad Palace Martyrs by the elf Area Lovedrains in the prairies of Hyde in the late winter of 45 during the Clash of Lances. Okay. Yeah, we got an artifact of an elf. One of our dwarves made a figurine of an elf eating a dwarf, and we're going to sell this to the traders. Yeah, why not? Why not? Now, there's another figurine here. This is just a figurine of an Ember's Wraith. But yeah, we'll sell those. I don't know what we'll get in return. It really isn't worth very much. There's probably not a lot we can get. I just want to trade something with them because then they'll bring more. Maybe we can get like something that we can butcher for soap. Peacock? An alpaca? A donkey? How much is the donkey? Oh, the donkey is dead expensive. Okay, how much soap can we make from one peacock? That's a question that I've never thought of in my entire life. How much soap can you make from one peacock? Up to 8 bars of soap. So we could possibly make up to 8 bars of soap. So actually, that's not a bad deal. Let's sell our awful figurines. And let's also try and buy the dog as well, because that could also be turned into soap. There you go. So we bought a dog and a peacock for some marble figurines, and we've also got some more migrants as well. So that's also good. Rimworld sure ripped off DF. Kind of. I don't think it's fair to say that they ripped off Dwarf Fortress. I just think that they have very similar scopes, but they're also quite different scopes. Like, Dwarf Fortress is... the world of Dwarf Fortress is a bigger world than the world of Rimworld. And fortresses are bigger than like a Rimworld settlement. Like, this fortress is probably going to have up to 100 dwarves in it at some point. Whereas Rimworld, I don't think Rimworld could handle having 100 of anything. But Rimworld's also more focused on individual pawns and stuff. Like, dwarves are pretty expendable when it comes down to it. And speaking of which, let's have a look and see what migrants arrived. Only 3 migrants showed up. So we got a spinner, a weaponsmith, and a fish cleaner. Not only is this guy a fish cleaner, he's a legendary fish cleaner. He is very, very good at cleaning fish. Like, he is exceedingly good at cleaning fish. This weaponsmith is not very good at making weapons. And spinner is, like, worthless as well. Some of these dwarves might become military dwarves, because we're going to have to start thinking about making a military soon. Right. In terms of that, though, I did see whether. So, do we have any tallow? Oh God, we haven't made the tallow into anything, have we? No. Okay, we don't want to cook tallow. That's important. Tallow is reserved for soap only. Speaking of which, let's make some soap from some tallow. I mean, I have nothing against RimWorld or anything like that. You know, I think they're very different games in a lot of ways. I mean, they're superficially similar, but at the same time, I mean, hell, one big thing about Dwarf Fortress is this, right? Up and down. It's you have levels. So, Dwarf Fortress is Z levels, right? How many games can you name where you can make soap? Not many. Well, I can only name one game where you can build walls out of soap. Excellent, kittens. 3 of them. Okay, we're gonna get some kitten soap soon, and we've got a puppy as well. So we're gonna get some puppy soap as well. Yeah, but Anno 1800 doesn't have the ability to make a fortress or a town or a city out of soap. We're going to make actual walls out of soap at some point. That's like the actual plan is to start. In fact, we're probably going to start doing that soon. I'm going to start by building like a settlement in order to put houses for the dwarves. What happens when it rains? Dwarf physics is not like human physics. Dwarves are excellent at making walls. They are like a dwarven wall is the strongest thing known to man. Because so long as a dwarf has made something into a wall, it's immune to practically everything. The only thing that can take down a wall made by a dwarf is another dwarf. A wall made out of soap is immune to water. It's immune to magma. So if you poured magma on a soap wall, it wouldn't melt. It would just... because again, the dwarf made it, and dwarves are just that good at making walls. No, building destroyers can't destroy a soap wall either. That's why soap is perfectly adequate as a way to make a fortress. I mean, that might change one day, I don't know. Maybe Toadie will change those sorts of behaviours, but at the moment, soap is just... soap can be used for anything that you can use blocks for, and blocks are... Well, soap is a bar, basically. Soap is a kind of bar, that's why it works that way. Okay, so we've got our hole in the ground. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this, though. I haven't really put much thought into it. I think what we just want to do is we want to start building a tower that kind of encompasses what we've got going at the moment. But I think first we probably want to just start building some homes. Or maybe we want to build... maybe the first thing that we build is the goose room. Because that's going to be a room that we need. Although it's not like a really important one or anything like that. I think we could probably just afford to... So I want to have a space that we can enclose off, and that's going to be this area here, the hole. So I'm going to start by placing some walls around here, and we're just going to use the yak soap to begin with. So the first walls are going to go up on the side here. The merchants are leaving soon. Oh, and we've also got a lamb as well, that's great. Do we have a pet? No, that's the blue peacock. We should butcher the peacock soon in order to make some soap from the peacock, I think. We don't have a way to feed it. Alki Spurdo, thanks for the follow. I probably haven't pronounced the first part of that correct, but I think I pronounced the second part correct. Sappers and diggers are on the long roadmap. Yeah, but I mean... The thing about Dwarf Fortress development is that I think there's basically no way of predicting what is actually going to come out next. I know, like, you know, like Turdy says that this is going to be next or this is going to be next, but really it's just kind of, it's just a kind of who really knows sort of thing. Like, you know, I think the Steam version will be next. I think the Steam version is going to be next, but I have no way of knowing what's going to be after, you know, what's going to be beyond the Steam version, right? Like, it's kind of hard to say. Right, in terms of kitchen, how are we doing in terms of stock? So we still got plenty of drinks, still got plenty of that. So we just need to focus on making soap. Alright, and you can see that the soap wall is starting to go up. So all this here is made out of yak soap. So that's that. And we're going to start getting some more soap in a second. Has our soundtrack? No, our soundtrack's still going. So soap maker's there. Yep. Repeat that task. So we should have some tallow. Have we made the peacock tallow? Yeah, the Steam version. The thing about the Steam version as well is that it's not being developed by Toady by himself. He's working with a team to do it, which is the other reason why perhaps it might actually get somewhere. Again, Toady's brilliant, but at the same time, he does everything, most of it by himself or with the community. So it's not, it's not like he's. Yeah, you get what I mean. Oh! I just had a thought. We could actually set up our our bookkeeper and our manager. Those things will greatly help us in this fortress. So we need to have a bookkeeper and we need to have a manager. I might. Where do I want to build those though? I was thinking that we could have like an annex underneath here and then just have some basic offices and stuff underground. We could always cover the walls in soap in order to make it look, kind of part of the. Then again, we do want to make everything above ground as much as possible. So I want to avoid placing like structures underground, which is why I haven't built any bedrooms yet. Bedrooms have to be made indoors, so it's going to be a very long time before we actually get bedrooms, which means that our dwarves are very slowly getting very mad because none of them have had anywhere to sleep except for the floor. But hey, it's a living, right? Okay, so I think we've made all of that soap. So do we have any kitchen stocks of tallow left? Nope. We got the blue peafowl meat, so that should be fine. Right, so we should have made all of that. And oh, we don't have a tanner's, do we? We should make one of those. Workshop, tanner's workshop. Eventually, we're going to be moving all of this stuff around. So we'll make that a blue peafowl soap. So we got 8 bars of peafowl soap there. Maybe we can use the peafowl soap to make the bridge. So we need to have a bridge that is kind of like the entrance into this area here. And this is going to be where the how you actually get into the tower is through this bridge. So we're going to need 4 bars of soap in order to make a bridge. The dwarves are very efficient at making bridges. They're going to make that entire bridge out of 4 bars of soap, made from peacocks. Okay, so we're going to start growing rope reeds, and let's have a look in our kitchen. So we've currently got 8 rope reeds and over 100 rice plants. We're going to start brewing a lot of stuff. We just need to brew all of this. There's really no risk just constantly brewing. Alcohol doesn't really expire, so we can just have like a massive stockpile of alcohol all the time. Dwarven physics doesn't work like human physics, Jake. It's a different physics system. And it follows different principles than human physics. It's not like E equals MC squared. It's more like E equals dwarf C squared. Because when dwarves interact with things, inevitably things just go wrong, or they just act in strange ways. But yeah. Okay, we've got the bridge anyway. Next, we're gonna build a. Well, we need to make a mechanics workshop as well. We don't have a mechanic, so we've got 3 dwarfs. That means we can appoint one to be the mechanic. We can appoint another one to be the the other one to be the bookkeeper, and we can appoint a third dwarf to be the manager. So those will be the dwarves that we've got at the moment. So we need to make the mechanics workshop though. That's really important. And we need to prepare all of our walls so that we can hide in the fortress if we need to. One tile can fit a rabbit or a bronze colossus. Not quite. A tile can fit only one creature at a time, unless all the other creatures on the tile are kneeling or knocked over. So you could have a tile that has one bronze colossus on it and 99 rabbits. Just so long as all the rabbits were kneeling down, and it'd be fine. But yeah, so despite the fact that a bronze colossus is like several times larger than a dwarf, they all occupy exactly one tile. In fact, I think there's only one kind of like creature, quote unquote. I mean, and lots of things can kneel in Dwarf Fortress. Again, Dwarf Fortress. I mean, again, Dwarf Fortress is just it's just not the same as. In fact, I think rabbits are vermin, so actually that means that they don't count as normal creatures. I'm pretty sure that they count as vermin, so actually, yeah, they don't even count as normal creatures. Or maybe they aren't vermin. Oh no, they're not vermin. Okay, yeah. And you can't even make soap out of rabbits either. Rabbits aren't big enough to make soap from. The carp stands up. Yeah, that is a terrifying message. Although carps aren't as brutal as they used to be. It's I understand why he fixed that bug, but I'm also it's kind of sad that it was fixed. Carp used to be like creatures from hell. They used to be really deadly. And I don't mean to exaggerate, they really were deadly in older versions of Dwarf Fortress. Like it honestly used to be that you would have a dwarf go off to go fish, right? Like he'd go to fish by a river, and the moment he even got close to the water, if there's like a carp in there, he'd inevitably get dragged under by the carp and just eaten. Carp aren't as scary as they used to be. In fact, carp aren't terrifying at all. Dwarf can easily kill a carp in this version of the game. Zombie giant sponges, good candidates. Zombie anything, really. Zombies make a lot of things really scary. I don't think that they're the scariest creatures, although I'm not going to say... Okay, non-spoilers. There are creatures that are spoilers, so I'm not going to tell you about those, but non-spoiler creatures, yeah, zombie anything. Zombie... I'm pretty sure that in ocean biomes, blue whales can exist. Or giant sperm whales. I'm pretty sure giant sperm whales can exist in Dwarf Fortress. The general rule in terms of how awful a creature is to fight is that the bigger it is, the more dangerous it is. So giant sperm whales are obviously massive. So a zombie giant sperm whale would be horrifying to fight against. There are other creatures that are dangerous in other ways, so yeah. Yeah, an undead giant sperm whale. I don't think giant sponges are as scary as they used to be. Giant sponges used to be terrifying because they were basically unkillable. Even the non-zombie variety of giant sponges used to be unkillable. So you'd have dwarves that would just get mauled to death by giant sponges because they just couldn't be killed. And they were really good at crushing stuff. But I don't think that they're unkillable compared to how they used to be. Because some of the mechanics as far as those things were changed a while back. Right. Okay. So I've kind of been wasting time just whilst I've been talking, just letting things run and tick. And in fact, my music has stopped, so I'm going to go and put some more music on real quick. But what I was going to say is just that we now need to make some. We now need to start actually making a lot more soap than we're making. Making soap from animals takes too long. We need to make soap from rope reed. So we can process rope reed into soap as far as I'm aware. Or at least I think we can. If not, then I have wasted a lot of time. I'm actually just going to check and see. Yeah, oh, you mill the seeds, that's it, yeah. So, you mill the seeds, make the oil, and I'm pretty sure that you can use, quarry bush, cotton, flax. Okay, no, you can't use rope reed seeds. So, I actually was wasting time. We can use quarry bushes, cotton, flax, hemp, and canaf. Okay, so that means that we need to find some cotton. There should be cotton on this map somewhere. We just need to locate it. So it might take me a little bit in order to find the cotton. That's fine. We will want to eventually have rope reed because rope reed can also be used to make cloth. Although obviously cotton can be used for the same purpose. But the main thing is we need well, yeah, flax, cotton. We should be able to find cotton on this map. I wish there is an easier way to search, but I always forget what it is. That's pepper plants, rice, pepper plants, ratweed, rice plants, ratweed, rice. There's a lot of rice, peppers, white yams, rice, prickleberries, date palm, saplings, prickleberries. Yeah, we should have cotton here somewhere. I mean, it showed up on the list of things that we could grow. Canaf would also do. Long whites. If we can't do that, then we'll just have to go with geese. We'll have to focus on our geese. Geese are excellent for soap because they don't take very long to grow up, which is why I brought them in the first place. Prickleberries, brown recluse spider silk. Ugh. I mean, that's useful in order to make silk. Longland grass, come on. Prickleberries, lime, saplings, hide roots. Yeah, I'm not seeing it here. I mean, that doesn't mean that it's not here. It could just be that I'm incredibly unlucky, but I'm not seeing it. And in fact, I'm not seeing any kind of plant that we can make soap from. I'm just going to check and see that we definitely haven't already harvested it. No, because you'd see it would be here, wouldn't it? You would be able to select it. So it might be that we actually don't have soap in this embark, which is unfortunate. That means that we can't make that. That's not the end of the world. We can make a different kind of plant soap, but that means that we have to make rock nuts plant soap, and rock nuts are made underground. So we would have to dig out an area in order to grow rock nuts under the ground, which we can do. I mean, I'm willing to do that if we can't find any cotton. Rice up here, fisher berries, date palms, hide roots, prickleberries. Yeah, it's not looking good on the cotton front. Right, that's fine. So we're going to go down, and we're going to go down, and we're going to go down, and we're going to build a farm. We're going to build an underground farm. Just a very basic sort of layout. We're not, we're not doing anything too fancy down here. We're basically just building an area where we can start.
Thank you very much.
Where we can start with that. Thank you to Smin 2001 as well. Dangerous music you're playing there. I already put down Stronghold for the day. I don't mind. I like playing the Stronghold music. It's one of my favorite soundtracks for a game. Okay, how are we gonna do this? I always stress over how I'm gonna build my farms. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. I mean, we could just build it like this and just kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, this gives that miner something to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it's even on every side, and then we can do that. So we can make doorways. Dig it out like that. Do you use the lazy new pack? Yes, I do. Although it's not called that anymore. It's just called Paris Eridance or whatever his name is. I can't remember. But it's his starter pack. Yes, I do use the starter pack. The starter pack is excellent. Everyone's saying it looks like an elephant. I'm sorry, it's too late. I can't put in elephant tusks. We're not going to be underground anyway. Most of the fortress is going to be above ground. It's just that I've got to put some stuff underground. Can't be done above ground. What is this as well? What kind of clay is this? This is sandy clay. Maybe we can make some pots. No, actually, I don't think you can make pots out of sandy clay. This is my jam. This is castle jam. Oh god, damp stone. Okay, I know for a fact that there's no risk that this is going to flood, but he's going to cancel a bunch of orders to dig because of damp stone. It's one of the most annoying things in Dwarf Fortress. He's going to just keep cancelling these digging orders because again, damp stone. And every time he does it, he's going to zoom us over to here. Has the FPS def gotten better with this game? Yeah. And I'd say, generally speaking, the performance is better than it used to be. There are still lots of hilarious ways to die, and stupid crashes and all sorts of other things. Like, you should have seen the fortress at the start. We spent 20 minutes just trying to find a location to start the fortress, because every embark we tried, it just wouldn't work. And it can take a while. But common sources of FPS def are not as bad as they used to be. Like for example, cats. Just as an example off the top of my head, cats are nowhere near as much as a problem as they used to be. And I mean, there are lots of tricks and stuff you can do in order to deal with FPS def as well. Don't worry, there's no risk of flooding the fortress. There isn't an aquifer. So the only way that the fortress would flood would be if I screwed up, and I am not going to screw up. I'm not going to screw up at that anyway. I might screw up at other things. Okay, we're going to make a ridiculously big farm plot here, and over here what we're going to do is we're going to make some presses. So, right, what we need to do is we need to make some presses, we need to do, yeah, presses, that's the main thing, and we also need to think about making some office spaces as well. Can never get off his soapbox. This fortress would be a lot further along if I wasn't doing it in the most gratuitously stupid method of building a fortress. I think the only way of building a fortress is worse than making one out of soap is making one out of glass. Now that'd be a pain in the... No, actually rock crystal. That'd be even worse. Rock crystal. I would love to see someone attempt that because there's no way in hell that I would attempt it. It's like one of those things that's just too much even for someone such as myself. Right. Okay, so we need screw presses. We need to get millstones. Well, these we need quilts. Yeah, right. Okay, so first of all, let's start by making those. We will make some over here. Rock. It's over here, isn't it? No, is it in the masons? Do we make it on the masons? Maybe we do make it with the masons. We must make it with the masons. We need some millstones because we need to mill seeds into slurry, and then we mill those into paste, and then we we turn that into oil, and then with the oil we can we also need to get some pipes in order to get the screw press. And we also need some giant screws, so we can get the wooden screws in order to do that. So enormous wooden. I believe this is it, right? Oh, that's a wooden barrel. Enormous wooden cork. There we go. Yeah, wooden corkscrew. 1, 2. Right. So we'll make 2 of those. And to make a screw pump as well, we'll need blocks. Right? Yeah. We're gonna have to butcher something. We have a spare dog. We'll butcher the dog. Right, that is the right gender dog though that we're butchering, right? Yeah, we need to have a male and female dog, and we've got 2 female dogs, so we'll butcher the spare dog. So, like making uranium or jade colony in RimWorld, kind of. The thing about crystal glass that is particularly difficult is just that it's kind of rare. The stuff that you need in order to make it. So crystal glass. Like, soap is annoying to make, right? Soap is a pain in the arse to make. It's a really awful process for making soap. But you can make it practically anywhere. Anywhere that you can get access to plants. Well, actually, no, any biome, because you can make it underground. So, anywhere that you can grow rock nuts, so literally anywhere, you can make soap. It's just that it takes there's a lot of steps involved in it. Glass, on the other hand, is... crystal glass in particular, rock glass, crystal glass in particular is difficult to make because you need to get rock crystals, which are a special kind of crystal that you can only mine in certain locations, and those locations are few and far between. So there's really no way to guarantee that any particular location you set off would actually have those. Rock nuts, yeah, that's what we're growing, rock nuts. That's what they're called, look, here. Well, actually, they're not. They're called quarry bushes, but quarry bushes produce rock nuts, and we make the soap out of rock nuts. So yeah, it's a rock nut soap. Sounds like Leveler is in the pocket of Big Crystal. Yeah, soap isn't that bad. I mean, it's easy. The easiest way to make soap is if you get olives. Olives are the easiest way to make soap in Dwarf Fortress. It's just kind of annoying. It's, you know. But to compare it to most kind of constructions, right? Like if you were to make a fortress out of wood, that's literally 2 jobs. No, 1 job if you're just making it out of wood, because you can just use the raw wood. Or if you're going to make it out of, rocks or something. I don't know. Yeah, we're doing another soap fortress. He says another soap fortress, as if the first soap fortress failed. You know, don't spread lies. Right, okay. So we got that there. Now in the other room we're going to have the screw pumps, so the screw presses. Right, we need mechanisms, but we do have the mechanics workshop, so right, we're just going to start making rock mechanisms. Can we build tables and chairs outside? Nope, have to be inside. Okay. Can we build chairs outside? No, it has to be inside. Right. A bit of an issue. I can think of one way that we can circumvent that, but we need more soap. How is our dog butchering going on? Stocks, kitchen. Okay, we got 11 bits of dog tallow. We don't want to cook any of it, so that's fine. So we're going to start making some dog soap. Repeat. We might also need some more lye. Oh, we're still making lye. We probably have loads of lye at the moment, which is good. So far, our fortress wall is made out of peacock soap and yak soap. It was inevitable that dog soap would be added to the mix. Just you wait until we start manufacturing geese soap. What's particularly good about this is that once I got a bookkeeper, once we got the bookkeeper set up, we'll actually be able to see how many bars of soap are in the fortress. So we'll be able to keep track precisely how much of each kind of soap we've used in order to build the fortress. We could even make like pie charts and things like percentage of soaps. So at the moment, the majority of the fortress is made out of yak soap, but you know, that might change as we go into the future. Our manager, well, our most useless dwarf is probably our mechanic, because we don't use mechanics very often, so you can be the mechanic. There you go. Dennis Wolf, DDR Jake, Dark Young. He's actually a legendary fish cleaner. Not after you. Oh, who do you propose to name him after? Other than yourself. Let me guess Dark Young, right? Let me guess what you're gonna say. You want a dwarf who is who's got a crossbow, right? You want a dwarf with a crossbow. Am I close to the truth? You'd like a crossbow dwarf? Well, guess what? You're not getting one. You know why? Because you can't be trusted with a crossbow. How can I trust you to not shoot my dwarves in the back? The moaning English git. Ah, come off it, Dark Young. Look, you all know that you know you're a legendary fish cleaner. You got legendary skills, mate. Let's have a look at Dark Young the dwarf and let's see what kind of dwarf he is. She felt euphoric due to inebriation. She is quite quick to heal and tough, a bit clumsy. She likes bismuth, bronze, wood opal, white-handed gibbon teeth. Wait, what? You like white-handed gibbon teeth, rope reed fabric, crossbows, earrings, catapult parts, pigs for their snorts, spider monkeys for their long limbs, and the sound of the rhyme of rhythm. When possible, she prefers to consume rye beer. She absolutely detests jumping spiders. You're a firm believer in the value of tradition. You dream of creating a work of art. You're quite shameless. You're not very private. You're a bit more thoughtless. You're untroubled about admiring art, apparently. You've also got a lover. You're romantically involved with a dwarf called Mesthos Laboured Stockade. You're a worshipper of the Horns of Frenzy, a casual worshipper of Nakor, and a casual worshipper of Kikros, the Cradle of Cages. You're an apprentice under Bosar Horrorwind. Yeah, you can see all your relations here. So you worship 3 different gods. Your master is a dwarf called Bosar Dango Spaz. Actually, no, that doesn't sound like a dwarven name. That sounds like an elf name. If I had to guess, I'd say that was an elf name. I think you have an elf for a master. Anyway, let's have a look at the deities you worship. You worship the Horns of Frenzy. They take the form of a female dwarf and associated with duty, order, and valor. Nakor is the god of suicide. Takes the form of a female dwarf, and Kikros, the Cradle of Cages, is the god of law and justice. Oh yeah, your lover as well. Your lover isn't here; he's not in the fortress. We don't have any crossbow dwarves at the moment. So we don't have any crossbow dwarves right now. But as soon as we get some, then you can be named after a crossbow dwarf, Mr. Drunken Dutchman. Matty Mayo wants a dwarf named Ned. Normally, I just name them after your Twitch name, because the rule is that when your dwarf dies, you don't get a second one, and that allows me to keep track of who has died and who hasn't died. I mean, I can name a dwarf Matty Mayo. It just makes it easier for me to keep track of who has and who hasn't had a dwarf. Although there are exceptions to this. It just depends. Like if I get a good enough reason to name a particular dwarf something else, then I will. It's an elephant. God, you've got a dirty mind. Where are mechanisms? Good grace. Good grief. Did we run out of rocks? Was he unable to make him? Oh, we don't have any rocks. Okay, our miner has to go and mine out some rocks. Okay, I'd like to make things out of marble as much as possible, so let's mine out this layer. Maybe we'll even, find some metals if we do this. Mostly, though, we just need to dig out some rocks so that we can make some, mechanisms. Goose wants a smith. We don't have any smiths yet either. It's going to be a very long time until we have smiths. Is it worthwhile to make the fields this large? No. There is no point in making the field that large. It's just a bad habit that I've gotten into over the years. To make large fields that will remain empty most of the time. At the moment, I've got a shearer, a spinner, a herbalist, expedition leader. Oh, actually, the shearer is named Dennis already. Herbalist, spinner, expedition leader, crafts dwarf, weaponsmith. Although, again, these two dwarves here, they're not actually going to stay as what they say they are. So one of them is going to become a bookkeeper. The drunk Dutchman likes herbs. You can be the herbalist, except you won't be a herbalist for very long. You will become a bookkeeper. It has been foreseen. Well, actually, no. The herbalist was doing something else, wasn't they? Yeah, the herbalist is actually a wood burner. He's burning wood. But I mean, hey, you can be him if you want. Dwarves grow old and die. They die of old age. Here, drunk Dutchman, you can be the wood burner. You like plants so much that you burn them. Elves and goblins are immortal. Yes, that's correct. Humans and dwarves die of old age, although dwarves get to about the age of 120 before they die. This is actually really important for mechanics. And I'm going to spoil something, so if you don't want to hear the spoilers, then you're going to have to mute me. But I don't think that this is much of a spoiler. I think most people already know this. But when necromancers are created, the way that necromancers are generated is when a creature who fears for their death, when they fear for their death, they can become obsessed with immortality. So they can then go out into the world and try and seek immortality, and eventually, if they're fortunate, they'll uncover the secrets of life and death. Thanks for the subscription, Dark Young. But yeah, they like go out into the world, they get afraid of death, they seek out the secrets of life and death. Now, because you have to be mortal in order to actually fear for your own death, because obviously goblins and elves don't do that, then that means that it's very rare to ever see an elf or a goblin necromancer. Not impossible, just rare. Most necromancers will be humans or dwarves for that reason. When I say that it's possible, the only requirement for someone to become a necromancer is for them to learn the secrets of life and death. So if a goblin or an elf gets a hold of like a necromancer's tome, then they'll become a necromancer because they'll know the secrets of life and death. But beyond that, they can still become necromancers. So, you know, they're just very unlikely to. That's why most necromancers are dwarves and humans. Also, other creatures as well. So you could have a cheetah man necromancer, or you can have a Spider-Man necromancer, or any other kind of horrible mutant creature that exists in the world. But yeah, immortal creatures can't get afraid of dying, so they never seek out the secrets of life and death. Yeah, cheetah man. Cheetah man exists in Dwarf Fortress. Most of my dwarves aren't doing anything because we don't have very set up systems yet, so a lot of my dwarves are idle, which is pretty bad practice. But that's because a lot of the dwarves have like a single function that they only do when it needs to be done. We're going to start building some more buckets, some more barrels I mean, and yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, so we should have gotten some more of those, and I think we've gotten some more. Well, we've got some more rocks anyway, so we can make some more rock mechanisms. So we needed to do that. We need to make a masons, so I'm just going to make a masons up here, just next to the pre-existing workshops, and we'll make that out of dog soap. Oh, good grief, that is a lot of beautiful dog soap. And now we're going to make ourselves a office space for some of our dwarves. So it's going to be a very temporary office. I'm going to show you how you can make an area indoors. So we're going to make some dog soap stairs. Dwarves can become infected by werebeasts, yeah. Although The most common kind of werebeast in the game is any kind of lizard werebeast. They're the most common. The most dangerous kind of... you can get some very dangerous... Well, all werebeasts are dangerous, but some werebeasts are more dangerous than others. Alright, and then what we're going to do is... So over here, we're going to actually build some... We're going to start building the roof here over the top of this area here. But we're only going to build a small section of it, and this is just so that we can get some... tables and chairs down in this area. So that's why we had to build the, the dog soap staircase. And now we're building a little bit of the roof over here. Okay, so now this area here, this 4 squares here, this counts as indoors. Because there's currently a roof over the top. Outdoors, indoors, outdoors, indoors. And that means that we can build tables and chairs there. So we're going to build a table here. Wait, why is the placement marked? Oh, right, yeah, because it's down one. Yeah, table. And we'll build a table here. And then we'll build a chair here. And we'll build a chair here. How high is the soap tower going to be? It'll be as high as we can build it. Okay, and now that we got these, we can make these into studies. So we're going to make this into a study. And we're going to make this one into a study. And we're going to assign... now we're going to go over to our dwarves. So, okay, I have this tradition. Although he never watches my Dwarf Fortress streams. I have this tradition of naming my bookkeeper after Dr. Nitro. So Dr. Nitro is going to become our bookkeeper, and well, we're just going to make the manager, our weaponsmith, into the manager. Is the schedule an indicator you're planning to go full-time streamer? To be 100% honest with you, Dark Young, I don't make enough money on Twitch in order to be a full-time streamer. I have 9 subscribers. I would need a lot more subscribers than 9 in order to live off of this. Is the bookkeeper completely useless? No, he's not. He just does something that's mind-numbingly boring. But it's very important. So we make the bookkeeper... Right, the bookkeeper does one thing, and one thing only. But we want a bookkeeper, and I'll show you why the bookkeeper is useful. Okay, so so look at our stocks, right? You see how they're all question marks? So we don't know how much of each thing that we got in stock. We check our stocks. We don't know exactly how much armor we got.
Thank you very much.
Nendroid, thanks for the follow. But yeah, we don't know how many bars we got. We don't know how many body parts we got. Look how fast the bookkeeper works. We go to the bookkeeper. We press settings and we say to the bookkeeper, we want all counts to be accurate. So now all counts will be accurate. We pause, we unpause, we pause. The bookkeeper is sitting in his chair, you can see him there. And just like that, he's counted every single thing in our fortress. Every single thing. It's almost all been counted, pretty much. I think he still has to do some... Yeah, there we go. Everything in the fortress has been counted. So we know exactly how much armor is in the fortress. Exactly how many barrels are in the fortress, exactly how many bars are in the fortress, exactly how many beds are in the fortress, bins, everything. Bookkeepers are very efficient, but we need to have a bookkeeper all the time in order to make sure that we can keep doing that. I usually just make my manager my bookkeeper. I prefer to have them separate, mostly just because very occasionally you'll get a chance where... Because the bookkeeper has to do the bookkeeper task, he has to update stockpile records, and if you have him be the manager at the same time, you can have a situation where you're trying to get the manager to make an order as quickly as possible, but he's doing something else. So I just like my manager to have no other concerns. My manager only manages, he never does anything other than manage. And when you've got like 100 dwarves in the fortress, you can afford to kind of be a bit lazy with them. You know what I mean? Although I guess it doesn't make that much difference. It's just I just kind of like having them be separate dwarves. Just makes me feel good. Okay, there we go. So we got the manager as well. So now that we got a manager, so before we were going to our tasks over here, and we were saying like, so we were going to our each individual workshop and telling them to make stuff. Now we can do this. So we can say, let's cancel those tasks. Okay, I want to make barrels. I want to make 50 barrels. No, not 5 barrels, 50. Actually, we don't need that many more barrels. We'll start with, well, 50 is a good enough number of barrels. 50 barrels. What else do we need? No, we don't want rock pots. Nest boxes. I need nest boxes. Let's make 10 rock nest boxes. Let's make a GMQ. Let's make 2 of these. Let's make 30 rock mechanisms, and that's just for starters. Then we're going to set a new task as well. I just want them to brew beer forever. I don't believe in having too much beer. Brew drink from plants forever. Just do that forever. Constant. Yeah, do that forever. And we'll start with that. Right. The other thing that we can do is we can just, we'll just leave them like that. I like to have my fortress to have as many dwarves as possible. The more disposable dwarves, the better. But yeah. Have you ever done a Last Dwarf Standing game, starting a fort in a world that had no living dwarf fortress civilizations? I've never really done anything like that. I don't find low. I'm not a fan of like low dwarf population fortresses. I much prefer to do something a bit bigger. You know what I mean? I like my fortresses to be grand and like kind of imposing, if you get me. So yeah, that doesn't really suit the way I play the game. No, I enjoy RimWorld. I just enjoy Dwarf Fortress more than RimWorld. I mean, that's not a sin, right? Yeah, I know. I kind of enjoy Dwarf Fortress more than RimWorld. It's just I played Dwarf Fortress for a lot longer than I've ever played RimWorld. Right, now that we've got the screw presses, we'll set those up. And we're going to need to set up another screw press as well. We should have the masons room, so we've got the masons. We've got the masons here, so he's constructing those. We're going to need doors. We're going to need to get some beds, because we don't have any beds, and we're going to need to start constructing some actual rooms in order for our dwarves to sleep in them. And we also need to construct a barrier wall, which is probably the most important thing that we need to do, is construct a wall to surround this entire area. So that's going to be the focus now, is going to be getting enough soap in order to do that. It's currently winter, so soon we're going to be able to grow rock nuts. And that's going to be our biggest source of soap. It's going to be the rock nut farm. We can't grow rock nuts during the winter though. They have to be grown, during the... Will this river freeze? No. It's too hot in this area for it to freeze. I think we're kind of in the equator. I think we're kind of in a hot area, so yeah, but it hasn't frozen yet. It's currently the 11th of the 12th, I believe, so that's the date in the Dwarf Fortress world. In the year of our Lord 103, in the Age of Myth. Right, we could start just placing the wall. So I'm going to start building as much wall as I can out of dog soap. So we've got 6 bars of dog soap, and that's going to be where we start the wall. In fact, we're going to start by building the next bridge, which we're going to build on this side. I want the bridge to be over here so that the dwarves. Well, I need to cut down some trees first. I don't want the entrance bridge to be on the same side as the bridge that enters into what's going to become the tower. Yeah, it should probably be the inverse, but hey, you know. we're going to make this into a bigger bridge. I mean, this is the bridge that leads into the fort. This will be the bridge that leads into the fortress eventually. So we're just going to stick that up here. And oh god, it's slightly too big. That's fine. We'll just make it slightly smaller. I mean, that's kind of a squat bridge. I don't. Oh, that'll be fine. As long as it, yeah, six bits of dog soap. So the dog soap bridge will be over here. Are you going to make a moat? Probably. The most important thing though is just to get the wall down. We need the wall, and we need to make it so that people can't jump into the fortress through the wall. But that's going to take a lot of soap because I want to wall off the entire area where I've already got stuff. Eventually, we'll deconstruct a lot of this because a lot of it will be going into the tower. But for now, we just want it all on the surface where they can easily access it. They can see him. Yeah, he's currently just placing the soap, which is going to be gonna go. Is this vomit, by the way? No, it's just grass. Okay. I didn't think it would be vomit because none of our dwarves should have cave adaptation. They should all be pretty free of cave adaptation. Will the floors also be soap? Yeah, of course. It's a fortress made out of soap. That includes the floors. Everything that we can make out of soap will be made out of soap. That includes the magma forges. I'm going to make the magma forges out of soap, and I'm going to show you how to do it. It's going to take us a while to get there, though. But they will also be made out of soap. That also means that we won't have access to metal for a very long time. And in fact, we might never have access to metal. It depends how successful I am. It won't melt. It'll be fine. Okay, so the entrance to the fortress is going to be the dog soap bridge. That's going to be where the entrance is. Oh, I also need to deconstruct my wagon. I've just had it here for the longest time. I'm going to deconstruct it. Soap's a magma safe? Nope. Soap isn't magma safe, except for certain kinds of soap, perhaps. See, perhaps soap made from certain kinds of creature are magma proof. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to try to anyway. I'm not sure exactly how well that'll work. It might not even be possible. But if it is possible, then we will do it. That's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, we need more soap though, and we need to butcher more animals basically. Our gander are supposed to be our main source of soap, but we don't have anywhere for them. We do have this room here. I'm gonna make a goose room. We'll make it underground just for the time being. This room will be horrifying to behold, but it's going to be where the geese go. So we'll just make it. We'll just make the grand goose room. I don't want to make the room too small. Normally I make the goose room too small, and then that causes issues. So this time we're going to have a big goose room. This also means we're going to need doors. We're going to need at least 2. Oh no, damp stone, deconstruction. Right. How much of this? Oh my god. Okay, I'm not going to build it there just because it's going to... We're going to get that bloody notification every single time. We'll build the goose room here. I'm going to make the goose room very big so that there's plenty of space for our beautiful, beautiful geese. Stairs in this game confuse me. I can try and explain it to you if you'd like me to do that. I think the easiest way to understand it is if you're building, like... It's kind of confusing when you're mining, but when you're building stairs it makes more sense. So, a stair is made up of 2 parts. there's what's called the upstairs and downstairs, right? So you can see here that this is a dog soap upward stairway. So this is just a staircase that points up. So it only goes up. It doesn't go down. It only goes up. This here is a dog soap downward stairway. It only goes down. So if we wanted to construct a staircase, we would build. First of all, we would build an upward staircase on the layer that's on the bottom. And then we'd go up one layer, and then we build a downward staircase on top of that, on the layer that's, that's the destination layer. Now, there's also what's called an up-down staircase, and that's obviously a staircase that goes up and down, and those go in between the down staircase and the up staircase. So yeah, that's kind of how they work. I know that it's a bit awful, but yeah, that's kind of how it works. Alright, where is our mine? I think our miner is currently... Yeah, he's constructing doors, which is why he's not mining. We've only got one mining dwarf in this entire fortress. But he's almost finished constructing the marble doors, so once he's done that, he'll be good to get mining down here. The wet season has arrived. That means it's spring. Okay, spring's on the calendar. That means that we can start growing quarry bushes. We've still got plenty of drinks and plants. That's fine. But yeah, our farmers should start going down here in order to plant. No seeds for the rices. I'm not going to bother growing anything. Yeah, we'll just keep that fallow. Okay, yeah, there you go. You can see our farmers, they're currently doing that. I'm going to make a stockpile over here for mits. Forbid. So first of all, we're going to make a stockpile for seeds, and it's going to be rock nuts. So this is going to be like, we're going to have like a rock nut stockpile here. And then over here, we're going to have another stockpile that is going to be for... quarry bush leaves over here. So we're going to have those two stockpiles there. It's been a while since I made soap with rock nuts, and I remember that it's a bit of a hassle, so I'm kind of trying to remember exactly how it is. I know you produce a large quantity of soap with it, but I can't remember exactly how it's done. Because you need to process the seeds into... You need to process the quarry bushes. And then you get the seeds, and then you put the seeds into the press. Basically along those lines. Yeah, and then we need bags as well. Yeah. Yeah, so that's how it is. Yeah, that's exactly as I remember it. So that should be fine. Okay, he's done digging out that room there. So now we can put the doors here. 2 marble doors, and now we can put the nest boxes as well. Okay, so this is going to be the goose room, and I know that it's a massive room for our geese, but last time we made the mistake of making the goose room too small. Oh, ramped minecart rail systems. I still don't understand those. Okay, so this is going to be goose containment. This is ground zero for geese, and you can already see that the geese are moving down here in order to claim the in order to claim the oh god, sorry, I'm losing my words. In order to claim the nest boxes. So we're going to assign all of our geese to this area here. So now we're going to have all the dwarves move the geese from... Oh, the elves have arrived. One track reminded me of Conan the Barbarian. The soundtrack that's playing at the moment is from the game Stronghold. So if you've ever played Stronghold, then you'll recognise that. But yeah, I've often used this soundtrack when I play Dwarf Fortress. It's a good soundtrack. I don't think that we have anything that we can sell. We got a tin and copper cage. We don't need those. Now, you might be wondering, why would I sell anything to the stinking elves? There is a good reason for that. Selling stuff to the elves is worthwhile.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Janny008, for the follow as well. Greatly appreciate it. But yeah, no, there's a really good reason to sell stuff to the elves, and that's because the elves bring with them exotic animals. And what can we do with exotic animals, I hear you ask? What are exotic animals good for? You might be wondering. Any guesses? Turning into soap, precisely, there you go. And there are some animals that elves can bring that are very good for soap. I'm thinking of elephants in particular. You can make a lot of soap out of elephants, believe me, we've done it. Though it looks like this time they haven't brought anything that useful. They brought a leopard and a chimpanzee. I mean, we can sell some stuff in order to buy those, but we're not going to get much soap from them. How much soap do we get from a cheetah? I'm actually half tempted to buy the cheetah and then just chain it up somewhere. Then again, we could just make soap. We've also got a cavi soap, but they don't produce soap at all because they're so small. Cheetahs can 13 bars of soap from one cheetah. One cheetah is worth 13 bars of soap. How many bars of soap is a chimpanzee worth? 12 bars of soap. The cheetah is a lot. Well, actually, no, that's a leopard, not a cheetah. Maybe leopards are worth less soap than cheetahs are. About the same. 11 to 13 bars of soap is how much we could expect from that. War tigers aren't useful anyway. War animals are not useful. If you try and attack, most of the animals that you could capture and then throw at people are not useful in fights anyway. They usually just die. Because they don't have armor or anything like that. So like they get hit by one goblin arrow, and then they fall over and in pain, and that's just the end of them. They get smacked in the head. They get smacked to death with goblin hammers. So yeah, not that useful. But for soap, very useful. So yeah, we're gonna have to sell them some junk though. We don't really have that much that we can sell to them. And because they are elves, they obviously hate anything made out of wood. Elves hate it when you try and sell them things made out of wood. So we've got to be careful with that as well. So we've got a marble bracelet, a marble figurine of goblins. This item is a well-designed images of goblins and elves in marble. The goblins are fighting with the elves. Okay. A marble figurine of Stinthad Hammerdreams. Stinthad Hammerdreams, the dwarf and dwarves in marble. Stinthad Hammerdreams is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the ascension of the dwarf Stinthad Hammerdreams to the position of Queen of the Sabres of Defense in the year 1. So this is a marble figurine of the first queen of our civilization. And over here we've got a marble bracelet, just a generic one, and then we've got a marble figurine of Nokor, who is the dwarven god of suicide. Let's see if they'll give us. Let's see if they will hand over the leopard for these. One leopard for all those isn't very fair. We should see if we can get anything else from them. Then again, they're elves. They don't bring anything useful with them other than clothing. I mean, we could buy some socks off them, maybe. Like a glove. We'll buy a sock. Okay, so we sold them a bunch of marble figurines in return for a leopard and a single sock. But now we've got a leopard, and soon we're not going to have a leopard because we're going to butcher it. So let's butcher the leopard. Socks are very important. Except we didn't buy 2 socks, we just bought 1 sock because we couldn't afford both of them. Still, we butchered the leopard, so now we can make some bars of soap. How much tallow did we get from that? 13. Okay, so we're going to get 13 bars of leopard soap. That's quite a lot of wool, you know. Okay, so we're going to be able to do that then. So as soon as our dwarves have finished making that into tallow, they're going to be able to make that into soap. And we'll get them to do that straight away. And then we'll be able to start constructing the next part of the wall. Did the stream go down for a second then or something? Is anyone still there? Not for me. Okay. For some reason the view count on Twitch is showing as 0 viewers, and I don't know why. Apparently I've now got 0 viewers. So yeah. Sorry. I just kind of thought that maybe the stream had gone down or something. I glanced over and it said I now have 0 viewers, from 70 to 0. I was thinking, Christ. I didn't think I was doing that badly. Who are all the nobodies? They're all Jake viewers, right? Or I don't know. Maybe some of them are from the Dwarf Fortress category. Yeah, it says 0 viewers on my end. Weird. All right, I'm going to try and refresh that just to see if it updates. I'm kind of nosy. I like to keep track of it. Also, the soundtrack ended, so we need a new soundtrack. Let's go back to the one that we started with. We'll just do Banished soundtrack. I like that soundtrack a lot. You're here because of Nancy Drew. Why would anyone watch this? I don't know. People do. Despite everything that suggests that, you know, you should definitely probably watch some other streamers, you know, people still watch this kind of stuff. I don't get it. Alright. We will use 10 bars of our leopard soap in order to make the wall. Although we're going to save the rest of the leopard soap in case we need to make any workshops. So you can see that the leopard soap wall is... Look at that, 1 leopard equals that much wool. That's how much wool you can make out of a leopard. And that's just from the soap. Imagine if you could make their bones into wool as well. Unfortunately, you can't. But imagine if you could. Imagine the possibilities. Are these rocknut seeds? No, they're just random assortments of seeds there. Okay, so we got this over here. We're going to need to get ourselves a... Well, we're going to need to get some bags, first of all. So we should have been getting some leather. At the tanner's. Where's the tanner's workshop? How much... Okay, we've got a little bit of leather, but not very much. We need to make some bags. Construct leather bags. Although we could make some bags out of cloth, couldn't we? I watch it because it's comfy to watch. It's nice to see someone else work on their fort rather than always be thinking about what your own fort needs. After watching Nancy Drew on Jake YouTube, I went to your channel to follow. I haven't talked about current events this stream. I've only just rambled about the fortress. I haven't had an opportunity to alienate everybody by sharing my views on the world. It's good to know that people watch the Nancy Drew stuff on YouTube as well. I'm kind of surprised that, like, you know, it's like just the flood, because obviously I'm subscribed to Jake on YouTube as well, just in case. With the flood of Nancy Drew stuff just coming through at the same time, there was a lot of Nancy Drew. What are my views on the world? I don't know. Depends what the topic is. I have a lot of opinions. Not all of them good ones. Yeah, the video. Oh, that video. Christ. Oh my god, that lab video. That's gonna haunt me forever. If you want to see some classic video of me, there's like a video on Jake's channel from ages ago where I streamed streamed Doki Doki My First Trip to Japan. Now that was years ago. What is my opinion on Elves and Dwarf Fortress? Elves and Dwarf Fortress are mostly a pain in the arse, but they are not credible antagonists because they're basically nothing threatening about them is what I'm getting at. Like, odd. They're kind of pathetic. Honestly, that would be the answer. They're kind of pathetic. Like, just in general, they pose very little of a threat to anybody. Like, they just kind of exist. They're very easy to go to war with because they use weapons made out of wood. Where does the name Eurista come from? So I used to stream on a different channel many years ago, and that channel was called Euristocrat. Eurist is the typical name for a dwarf. It's the dwarven name. So the most average name that you can give a dwarf is Eurist, and a Euristocrat would be a dwarven aristocrat, aka the most useless kind of dwarf there is. They'll stop being a joke once Tarn gets around to upgrading their equipment. Yeah, but, you know, it'll probably be a while before that happens, right? Also, because I forgot to close the goose room... Hello, Tom, thanks for the follow. But yeah, because I forgot to close the goose room, the dwarves have been in here and they've stolen the eggs. Ah, Jake calls everybody useless. That's just Jake, though. I've known, I've streamed for a long time, and I basically met Jake through streaming, back on my old channel. So that's kind of, like I was a part of his community for a long time. But then, kind of like life stuff got in the way, so I kind of had to leave for a while. And then when I came back, I wanted to stream again, but I didn't want to stream on my old channel because my old channel had like 900 followers, but if I streamed on that channel, like maybe 5 people would turn up because most of them probably don't even remember that I streamed, or you know what I mean. So I started a new channel, but that's why everybody calls me Euristo, because they remember me from the channel that I have, and I still have it, so I can log into it and message people and stuff. But yeah, that's the specific reason. I am really bad at puzzle games. I am happy to admit that. I always have. The thing is a lot of people who did the Nancy Drew challenge, I think a lot of them were very boastful about how good they would be. That's kind of how people are, but I have no illusions about my shortcomings. I am not good at puzzles. Never have been. Especially any puzzles involving like maths and things like that. Like, I know that it's frustrating for people, but that seat rearranging puzzle, I just cannot get my head around stuff like that. I don't know what it is about those sorts of things. I just really, really struggle with like being able to picture it in my head. I can do the slider puzzles. I don't know if you saw me do the slider puzzle. I find those easy. It didn't take me very long to get that done. And Towers of Hanoi, I can do those as well. That's trivial. But things like that where you've got to read the text and kind of like such and such is sitting next to this and this, and I have a lot of trouble with that kind of thing. It's like picturing it in my head. it's hard for me to kind of like work it out in my head. Magic update hasn't happened yet. There have been some things that are going to point towards magic, but nothing concrete exists yet. So, like, the start of the magic update is kind of here in a sense, but not really. What I mean is that basically there's some updates in terms of like research. There's the skeleton of a research system in game at the moment. Civilizations have research and research. They can research different things, but it has no practical effect. But it does exist. So you can build a library, and your dwarves will write books and research. What do guilds do? So guilds are primarily meeting places. But when you have 10 dwarves who are of a particular profession, they will demand that you build them a guild hall. A guild hall is just a room that you assign to them that has a particular value. So you have to have a value of goods in there that reaches a certain amount, and they will then congregate in that room in order to do like socialize. They'll also train in that room as well. So dwarves will hold training sessions, where one dwarf who's particularly good at something will train the other dwarves in that thing. Also, our miner has given birth to a girl. So they can be actually quite useful because it's a way for dwarves to socialise out, and it's also a way for them to train their skills without having to actually train. I would say that in most fortresses, the most common kind of guild is going to be the farming guild, because most of your dwarves are farmers. So if we look at our citizens here, you can see that a lot of our dwarves count as farmers, so yeah. But you can have ridiculously specialized skills. So there's like general skill guilds. Okay, so like farming, soap making, wood burning, potash making, lye making, milling, and pressing. Those are all considered to be farming skills, right? So if you have 10 dwarves who are all farmers, but one of them is a farmer, one of them is a potash maker, etc., but you have 10 of them, then they can form a farming guild. But if you had 10 potash makers, they could form a potash making guild, kind of like a sub guild in a way. So yeah, you can have a fish cleaning guild, you could have a pottery guild, you could have a carpentry guild. Oh yeah, eventually we will have a soap making guild. We will have enough soap makers to have a soap making guild, I can guarantee it. It's going to be a while, but I hope that we will get there eventually. Alright, the next thing that we need is a farmer's workshop. Oh, we need to make that out of soap, don't we? We're going to have to butcher an animal in order to make some soap. We have got some lambs, although I don't think that they'll produce much soap. How long does it take lambs to grow up? Oh, are the elves still here? No, the elves have left, okay. They had a chimpanzee, we could have tried to buy it, but they've already left. We could butcher one of our cats, actually. Let's butcher a couple of our cats, because we've already got kittens. So, yeah, we'll butcher our cat. We'll butcher one of our cats, and then we'll make some cat soap. Also, we ran out of rock, so we need to dig some more rock. Alright, I'm just digging out empty spaces. A lot of this can be converted into storage space eventually. We're not going to have much down here, because obviously, again, this is supposed to be an above ground fortress. But we're just digging out some spaces that's going to be where we have some. Well, you know what I mean, right? somehow I'm more offended by the idea of butchering a cat to make into soap than I am the idea of making walls with cat bones. Cats have to be butchered, I'm afraid, because otherwise they overtake your fortress. You get too many of them. Cat butchery is one of the earliest lessons you learn in Dwarf Fortress. It's unavoidable. It kind of has to be done. You see this here, by the way. So you see how it says unavailable next to all the animals? Except for some of them where it says uninterested. Dwarves can adopt animals as pets, and once they've adopted them as pets, they can no longer be butchered. The way that a dwarf adopts an animal as a pet is if you assign that a pet, make it available, and then if a dwarf wants it to be his pet, they'll adopt it. But you have to make them available. The exception is cats. Cats have uninterested, because cats become pets of dwarves by picking the dwarf. So, like, a cat can choose to become a pet, basically. And that means that if a cat chooses to become a pet, you can't butcher it anymore, and that means that it can be hard to get rid of it. And that can mean that you can have like an overpopulation of cats, unless you geld them. But in earlier versions of Dwarf Fortress, you weren't able to geld animals. So you actually had people, they would lock cats in cages in order to stop them from basically causing a cat explosion, because one of the biggest killers of fortresses in this game is what's called FPS death, right? When there's too much stuff going on in the screen because the fortress has been running for a long time, and then that means that the game just slows to a crawl. Also, the drunk Dutchman has given birth to a girl, to a boy. Sorry, congratulations. Where's that cat meat? Has the cat not been butchered yet? No, it has been. Right, how much tallow have we got then? Stocks, bars, cloth. Tallow is glob, isn't it? No, it's not. Is it paste? I always forget where tallow is in the list.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rifflebard. Rifflebard _ for the follow. Greatly appreciated. I thought it was glob. Maybe we didn't get any tallow from that, which would be really unfortunate. Because I need that tallow. Okay, I'm just going to set tallow, make soap from tallow 3, and just see if we get any soap that way. I might need to deconstruct something. Yeah, because we definitely butchered the cat. If we had the tallow, it would be over here. Yeah, I don't see any tallow in any of these. Let's make some more barrels, because we might have run out of barrels. That's one possible cause. Oh, we needed to make cloth as well, didn't we? I was going to do that ages ago and I forgot about it completely. Possibly we're going to have to deconstruct some wall in order to make some more workshops. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to start deconstructing bits of wall in order to make some emergency workshops. So we'll deconstruct those bits over there. Okay, so now that we've got some leopard soap, that means that we can make a farmer's workshop. So we'll place that here. Oh, there we go. We have got 6 bars of cat soap. Okay, cool. Right, so we'll just use that. So we're going to have 2 farmer's workshops. We're also going to need to get a loom somewhere. I'm not quite sure where we'll place that. I mean, we could make this smaller. I think we're going to make that farming field smaller. It doesn't need to be as big as that. Right, and we're going to need some dwarves who can do some farming. I mean, our mechanic is making mechanics still. Our soap makers don't actually have a lot that they need to do. I think How is currently doing a lot of important stuff. Novice woodburners. Yeah, our soap makers don't actually have a lot to do at the moment. Neither does our one of our lime makers or our pressers. Our presser plant gatherer does nothing. He's basically never doing anything. He can be working in the farmer's workshop. I forgot what that is. Is that plant processing? There we go, plant processing. Okay, we got an announcement. Okay, we're just getting a load of children apparently. Golden Deer has given birth to a boy. Is the FPS death an intended thing? No, it's not intended. It's a consequence of just the way that the game functions. The game keeps track of stuff to a really ridiculous level, right? This game keeps track of a ridiculous level of information. So you know how RimWorld keeps track of individual limbs and stuff? This game does that too, but to a ridiculous degree. So, like, let's for example say that we want to look at one of our dwarves here, Dr. Nitro. That's all the information that we get about them, and obviously that's kept track of. We find out what kind of stuff Dr. Nitro likes, we know what kind of stuff he doesn't like, we know what he's good at, we know what he's bad at, and if he had any injuries, it would keep track of all of those as well, like if he was missing any individual teeth, if his toe was broken. This game keeps track of a lot of stuff. We can see his relationships. So, we know that Nitro has a mother called Methos Elanthoran, his farmer, his paternal grandfather. He's got this many aunts, a lot of uncles. He's got a niece, he's got a cousin who is a champion. So this guy here, yeah, you see, there's just a ridiculous amount of stuff that's kept track of here. Like the individual deity that he worships a deity called Nar, who is the god of writing, scholarship, wisdom, and muck. I don't know why he's a god of scholarship and muck, but there you go. Yeah, it just keeps track of a ridiculous amount of stuff this game does. In fact, I can show you the world. This will probably lag the game a lot when I open it, but let me show you the civilizations that exist in the world. So this is the map of the world. This is the largest possible world that you can create because I always like to make big worlds. And if we look at our civilization, oh sorry, I did that wrong. Yeah, where is it? Press the H button. Yeah. So this is our fortress here. We're the Dwarven Fortress of Soap. Our site government is the Honest Keys, and our civilization is the Sabres of the Defense. Alright, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Stasis. So hopefully I'll see you around for another stream in the future. But yeah, that's where our actual fortress is, and you can see here that these are all holdings that belong to different civilizations. So this one in blue here is actually where our government is from. You can see that when we hover over this fortress here, there's a list of artifacts. Those are all books that we know exist in that fortress. There's another artifact in that fortress, and all of this stuff is just kept track of to a ridiculous degree. So for example, directly to our north is a goblin stronghold. There's got about 60 goblins living in it. This one here's got another 60. There's one to our south with 75. There's a goblin forest retreat. So you see how it says forest retreat? That means that this site used to belong to elves. The elves built a forest retreat and the goblins took it over. And all sorts of stuff happens all the time in this game. I think over here is the Necromancer Tower. Yeah. So this is a Necromancer's Tower. And you can see in there that there is some Necromancer's books that are rumoured to exist at that site. And we can send raids to these sites. We can do all sorts of weird stuff. Weird and wonderful stuff. There's a tomb here. So there's a tomb belonging to somebody at this location. We don't know what's there. And there's a goblin fort over here that belongs to another civilization. There's a human castle. So there's humans in this area over here, although we have no contact with them at the moment. So yeah, you can see that there's a lot that goes on in this game. You still not but yeah, sorry, I kind of got sidetracked. You wanted to know how easy it is to get into this game. This game is not that difficult to play, but it's very confusing to control. The UI is a nightmare, but the game itself isn't difficult. It's very easy to survive in this game, but basically it's all about how difficult you make it. I would say that if you want to play Dwarf Fortress, the best thing that you can do is download the game because it's free, and try and make a fortress. There's a guide on the wiki that will tell you how to do the basics, and I will tell you this immediately: you will fail. Your first fortress will fail, and it will fail hard. And then you make a second fortress, and that one will also probably fail hard. And you make a third fortress, and you make a fourth fortress. And every time you make a fortress, there'll be some new reason why your fortress fails, but that's just what you do. And eventually you'll be able to make a fortress that doesn't fail. But then you'll want to do something more interesting. And that is the beauty of the game. It's just trying to overcome whatever stupid mistakes kill your fortress. Dwarves are very stupid. Very, very, very stupid. They easily die. They do a lot of daft things that get them killed. They will get themselves into trouble very easily. It's like trying to herd cats. God. There's a general rule in Dwarf Fortress. If a dwarf has to make a decision, if a dwarf has to make a decision, the dwarf will make the wrong decision 90% of the time. And I believe this. I believe it's true. If a dwarf is ever in a position where he has to make a decision about something, he will make the wrong decision about 90% of the time. It's just one of the things that is undoubtedly true about the game. There's not much you can do about it, I'm afraid. Other than trying to make sure that the dwarves don't make bad decisions, or make sure that they make as few decisions as possible. And this extends to all sorts of things. Like, let's say, for example, that you tell a dwarf that he needs to dig out a room. Your dwarf will invariably start digging out the room in the least efficient way possible. But that's just how dwarves are. They make bad decisions. So it could be something as simple as your dwarf is. You told your dwarf to dig a tunnel, so he walks the long way around to dig half of the tunnel. Then he walks all the way to the other side to dig the other side of the tunnel. It could be something as catastrophic as your dwarf decides to have a tantrum, and during his tantrum he destroys a lever, and because he's destroyed the lever, that means that you can't close the gate, and because you can't close the gate, that means that the invaders get inside your fortress. I've had that one happen to me. That's actually how the original Soap Fortress died. It was because a dwarf had a tantrum, he destroyed a lever, and because the lever was destroyed, we couldn't close the gate. And that meant that the goblins got inside the fortress. So, yeah. That is an example of just one of the many ways that the dwarves can fail, and fail hard. I lost the fortress once because I tried to drain the ocean into the... caverns, and what happened instead was that all my miners drowned, and then the surface of the area was covered in zombies, so I wasn't able to get the pickaxes to make a new kind of to dig anymore. So it was just impossible for us to dig anything because there was too many zombies on the surface. I've had that happen. That's been a thing that's happened to me before. You know, all sorts of stuff happens. It's just that's just the way of the world. How many rock nuts do we have? We don't have any. What are they processing here? Oh my god, I know what he's doing. Right, okay, because we've got a load of plants that he's processing. I need him to process my rock nuts in particular. But instead he's processing all the other plants that he's got instead. I don't think there's any way that I can get him to prioritize rock nuts over everything else, other than just forbidding all the other plants. Okay, let's try that, yeah. What we'll do is we'll go to our stocks. And then where's our plants? Plants, P. I mean, actually, I don't think he has that many that he needs to process. I think processing plants are back. Oh, right, okay, actually, that's because that's the process plant. Oh, yeah, process plants the bag, so he is actually doing it with just rock nuts. That's super fine. Although I don't think that he's actually... Have we actually got any bags, or is he gonna... Is there an announcement telling us that we haven't got any bags? Yeah, we don't have any bags. So we need to make some leather bags. Let's make 3, and we're going to need to make a workshop as well, because we need to make a leather workshop to craft things out of leather. So let's make that, and that is made with... oh my god, where is it? Leatherworks E, right at the top. We'll just build it right outside here. And we have 2 bars of cat soap left, so we'll use one of those to make the workshop. Oh yeah, we left the anvil on the surface as well, so we weren't able to make a new pickaxe. But the fun of Dwarf Fortress is failing. Losing is fun. Losing in new and spectacular ways, that's how you have fun in this game. Or at least that's how I have fun in this game. Also, I've got exactly 69 viewers, nice. Alright, we don't have a leather worker, so we're going to have to send somebody to make some leather goods for a bit. I mean, we'll make our tanner into a leather worker, that's fine. You know what I'm really glad about? I'm really glad that this location doesn't rain. Because if it was raining here, we would have had a tantrum spiral, I can guarantee it. We would have had tantruming dwarves upset about the fact that they were being rained on. Dwarves hate rain. They don't mind being outside, they just hate the rain. Rain really gets them. I mean, these dwarves are probably all upset because they're all sleeping outside as well. Do you actually know why he's called Armok? Deanna, do you know the reason why he's called Armok? He's called Armok because it stands for arm_OK. In the original Dwarf Fortress, this Dwarf Fortress is a sequel, by the way, to a different game called Slaves to Armok. Which was a kind of really weird action RPG style game, but the name Armok comes from a variable within that game, which was arm_OK, which was used to determine whether the arm was okay or not. Yes, dwarves can have tantrums. Dwarves are moody gits. They get upset at the slightest thing. All sorts of things make dwarves upset. Being rained on is one of the things they really hate. Well, any number of things can upset dwarves. A tantrum spiral is when a dwarf gets upset and has a tantrum, and then because he's tantruming, he fights another dwarf, and then the other dwarf gets upset because he's just been in a fight, so he starts tantruming, so he fights another dwarf, and then that dwarf gets upset because he's been in a fight, so he fights another dwarf. You get the idea. That's the spiral. That's the tantrum spiral. One dwarf upsets another dwarf, upsets another dwarf, upsets another dwarf, until they're all just fighting each other instead of actually doing anything. There's a dwarf over here who's vomiting on the floor, which is surprising because I didn't realise any of our dwarves had been underground enough to get cave adaptation. The dwarves hate water, they do. That's why they don't use soap for anything other than building. Well, that's not true, they do use soap for other things, but yeah, mostly for building. Oh, werebeasts and vampires, good grief. Don't even get me started on those. To be honest, it's pretty easy to find out whether your dwarf is a werebeast. You find out when he's a werebeast because he turns into a werebeast and then starts slaughtering all your other dwarves. It's a very quick way to lose a fortress. Especially because he can contaminate other dwarves as well with his werebeastism. It's usually the mayor. It can be. Okay, it's summer, which means that we might have some traders soon, so we're going to start moving some goods over to the depot. Actually, oh, we can't do it until we got the traders, can we? Yeah. Yeah, we have to wait until there's actually some traders here before we can move goods over. How many rock nuts do we have? Oh, have we already planted all the rock nuts? God, we need so many bags in order to actually do this. That's going to be the big thing. Is just getting bags. Bags are going to be difficult. Do we have any more? Do we have any more leather in order to make bags with? We have like one more bit of leather. Okay. Process plants to barrel. I'm pretty sure that one sends. Yeah, that's for sweet pods. We need to process plants as well. So we just do that. Yeah, we just do that forever. And down here as well, we're currently growing rice here. We need to start growing rope reeds. And then over here we need to build a loom. And we'll make that out of cat soap. I think there was wasn't there silk on the surface? Yes, there was. Okay, we can make some bags out of silk. There's brown recluse spider silk on the surface. Not a lot of it, but a little bit of it. So we can have the dwarf go and collect all that. And then we can make that into some bags as well. That'll be a couple of bags at least. Possibly more, depending on how much silk we can find on the surface. Speaking of which, what kind of animals have been here? We haven't had any dangerous animals show up or anything, really. Maybe if we can get some more brown recluse spiders, that'd be useful. Oh yeah, this is from the Banished soundtrack. It's literally just the Banished soundtrack that we're playing at the moment. Banished is a pretty comfy game, but it's not very detailed. But it's pretty fun. I mean, it's not like it's you know, it's a pretty straightforward game, but it's pretty fun. You know, I would recommend it. And there are some mods for it that kind of make it a bit more exciting as well. So it's not as if it's like without its charm or anything. It's just kind of it's a bit of a basic game. Yeah, Vanished is a game where you chill out. We still haven't had any new geese yet, which is kind of worrying me. I was kind of hoping we would have some baby geese, some goslings at the moment. Do we actually have any eggs? Yes, we have 4 geese eggs there, 8 in that one. And they are fertile, another 3 in that one. None in that one yet. So we probably got 11 goslings soon. Why isn't our guy making that loom? I did assign somebody to do that. Oh, he's currently planting. That's why Dennis Wolf is currently planting. I mean, our bookkeeper doesn't do a lot. I'm going to tell him that he has to start spinning and weaving as well. I mean, he is actually a spinner and a weaver, so that's fine. But I'm just going to tell him to do those things. Because I just need somebody to come and make that loom. Okay, cool. A human caravan has arrived. I don't think humans bring anything spectacular with them, but they might bring some useful seeds. Oh, they might bring bags as well. Right. That might actually be useful. Bags are the big problem at the moment. We don't have enough bags. We don't have enough leather or cloth. So if they brought either of those two things, then we can make a lot of bags with those. So those are also good. Right, let's get moving some goods over here then. We actually don't need these trap components. We don't need the corkscrews. We've got some empty cages that we don't need. We'll just sell those off. We'll sell those back to the humans because, again, we don't need them. We got a spice barrel? Oh, right, that's got the leaves in it. Yeah, we'll leave that. Yeah, what else will we move over here? We got all those. Pigtail cloth. Oh, so we got some pigtail cloth with us actually. We'll move our crafts bin over there as well so that we can trade them some crafts. And we need our trader to come to the depot as well. Okay, our trader is currently drinking instead of actually helping us. And I can already see that my weaver is collecting silk, which is excellent. So he's collecting the webs and he's going to weave that thread into cloth, which is also excellent. He's going to weave that silk as well, once he's got the... Yeah, so we're actually going to get some silk, we're going to get some thread, which we're then going to be able to actually make into bags. Yeah, there we go, rope reed thread. Trade. Right, look at all this junk that we got to sell. We got some marble earrings, a marble scepter, a figurine of the mysteries of the elf. This item is a superbly designed image of the mysteries of the elf, the topaz bound codex. So it's a figurine of a book. The mysteries of the elf is withering away. The artwork relates to the disappearances of the book in the prairies of Hyde. Okay, so it's a figurine depicting a book being stolen, I guess. Rosemic Arrow Soap, the human, and Arad Leopard Breeches, the massive bulb, the rock, in marble. Arad Leopard Breeches is striking down Rosemic Arrow Soap. This artwork relates to the killing of the human Rosemic Arrow Soap by the rock Arad Leopard Breeches. A figurine of Royu Controlled Windy. What a name for a dwarf! What a name for an elf! This elf is called Ruyava Controlled Windy, and it's also got Grief Muddled the Immoral Demon, the Mammoth Fiend, in marble. Grief Muddled the Immoral Demon is striking down the elf. The artwork relates to the killing of the elf by the Mammoth Fiend, Grief Muddle. Okay, so it's a statue or a figurine of an elf being killed. A classic. Another figurine of the God of Death. This is a figurine of an elf and a goblin. The elf is being shot to death by the goblin. You might be noticing a pattern with some of these depictions here. I don't know. Can you kind of notice like a little bit of a pattern with some of these some of the artwork in this in these? Oh, they've got a horse. We'll buy the horse. We're going to butcher that horse. Horse soap it is. And then in terms of everything else, we're going to try and focus on getting some stuff that we can use to make some bags, because we need lots and lots of bags. So let's get a cloth bin, a leather bin. Leather is cheap compared to cloth, so we'll be focusing on buying leather. Just lots and lots of leather. I'm also going to see if they've got any books with them. We could also buy some food off them. It's a little bit indulgent actually, but I always like to see whether they got any books, because sometimes they'll have some interesting You know, sometimes they'll bring with them interesting books, so it's always interesting to see. Let's also buy some horse cheese and some donkey cheese, and some sheep cheese and alpaca cheese, because why not? Okay, so they've got 3 books with them. They got Probing Came Full Circle. It's a cougar parchment scroll. On the item is a manual entitled Probing Came Full Circle. It concerns the surgical method of probing. Then they've got another book here called Never Underestimate Probing. This is another manual, and it also concerns the surgical method of probing. And then we got another book called The Castle, A New Approach. And it's a guide to... It concerns the castle sparkled censored. Okay, we're going to buy those books. I'm just going to buy all 3 of those books. Oh, those books are expensive, actually. We'll buy the books on castle. We'll buy the castle book, and we'll try and buy one of the probing books. He wants some of our ropes and some of our jugs and stuff. Yeah, you know what, that's fine. So we should now have a lot more goods that we can use, that we can sell. Sorry, we should have a lot of leather now, so we'll be able to make a lot of leather bags. So let's get some leather bags. We'll make 20 of those. We might not have enough leather to make 20 bags, but you know, even if we get close to 20. What do books do? They don't really do much. They're just kind of interesting. You can build a library, and dwarves will go there to read the books that you have in the library. And you can also manufacture paper, and the dwarves will then they will then write books. You can have dwarves write books, and the topics they write about are kind of interesting sometimes. Because they're all generated from world history, so they'll write about events that have happened in the world, they'll write about things that civilizations have discovered, they'll write about scientific topics, they'll write manuals and on like different sorts of things. But yeah, it's more of just an interesting thing to see what they kind of write about and what kind of books they have. I might actually build a basic library just real quick so that they can go to the library and read the books. Reading the books can help improve their mood. It's one of the things that they can do to make themselves feel happy. Which is understandable, you know, like, reading a book is good. Also, we're going to go kill a horse. Sorry, I'm kind of getting a bit tired now because I've been streaming for almost 4 hours. But yeah, that's what books kind of do. The only interesting books that do anything beyond just being like an interesting way for your dwarves to feel better is books concerning the secrets of life and death. But those kind of books are rare. You don't see them very often. Dwarves who learn the secrets of life and death, they tend to change a little bit, you know, they become different. Not quite the same as they used to be. I mean, who wouldn't? You know, if you learnt the secrets of life and death, I'm so sure that you'd be a very different sort of person. You know that one already, fair enough. I try not to give away too much information because I always worry that, like, I don't want to spoil too many things. So sometimes there's certain things that I don't talk about at all. But yeah, I don't want to. I want to avoid spoiling stuff for people because it is more fun when you kind of learn it yourself and when you experience it. There we go. We've got some horse fat. I'm gonna make that into horse tallow. And then we'll be able to make some horse soap. We got a bag here made out of hammerhead shark leather, so that's always fun. Right. Yeah, they're processing the plants to the bags now. It's going to take us a while. How much kitchen stock we got? God, look at all this crap that we got in terms of food. Right, we don't want to cook horse tallow. Let's prepare 13 lavish meals. We'll just do that. That might make some of our dwarves a little bit happy. I'm kind of worried that my dwarves have been outside for a long time, and that might upset them a lot. I come back to this game every year or so, and it's always changing. I mean, that's one of the nice things about it, is that it changes. You know, it's never the same game that you remember, but it's always the same game you remember. It's just also different. That's one of the things I like about the game. You know, it is regularly updated still, and it is being developed, and you know, new stuff is added from time to time. Not all the time. I mean, it can be a long time between updates still, but you know, it's nice that it's still being worked on. I remember back when trees used to be single tile objects. I don't know if you remember that, but back when if you cut down a tree, then you got one block. You got one bit of wood per tree that you cut down. Nowadays you get loads of trees. You get loads of wood. But back then, actually, having enough wood used to be a challenge. Used to be difficult before we got the multi-Z level trees. I can't remember which version I started on. I've just been playing this game on and off for years. Oh, you probably started playing before I started playing then, if you were playing that far back. Thoughts on the upcoming Steam version? I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be good for the game. The one thing that I'm not excited for, I don't know if I should say this, it's a bit funny, but when the Steam version comes out, I bet there'll be like hundreds of people streaming this game. Most of them will have no idea what they're doing, so that'll be fun to watch. It'll be interesting to see how people approach this game. There is kind of a bandwagoning thing with new games when they come out. Like, the moment that a new game releases, you get all these people who have to stream it. And when Dwarf Fortress comes out, well, you know, on Steam, I mean, when the Steam release happens, there'll be loads of people streaming this game who have no idea how to play it. So you'll get to see a lot of failure. But hey, that'll be a while away. That'll be a little bit away. That's just my predictions about what's going to happen. All right, we got some horse soap. How much horse soap do we have? Seems like we got a lot of horse soap. Oh, that's only 1 bar of horse soap. Okay, we need to make a floor here in order to kind of get across this bit of water. And also just to cover it up so that things can't swim underneath here into the fortress. Or what is eventually going to be the fortress anyway. So we'll just start doing that there. Yeah, I didn't play Dwarf Fortress that far back myself, but I do remember some of the many older versions of it. You know, I got into streaming with this game, although, you know, I've streamed this game for a long time, except, you know, very on and off. I'm a very on and off sort of person in general. You might notice that once if you stick around, that I'm not good at keeping a schedule. That is true, but I mean, the point of the Steam release is to kind of alleviate some of the control issues as well. So, you know, like, they might actually find it's not that difficult once they get into it. But we'll see. I mean, I'm sure some of them will stick to it, and you'll probably see more people streaming the game. I wonder if they'll make it into 2 separate categories, whether they'll do like a Dwarf Fortress Steam release category and a Dwarf Fortress category. It'll be interesting to see. I hate that I want to scroll around your screen and zoom in and out to look around. Fair enough. Yeah, I know that I'm not showing very much at the moment, but this fortress isn't very detailed. I mean, this is all the fortress is. It's just this level, this level, this level, and also some area where I dug out for stone, and that's literally it. This fortress, there's not a lot going on in it. The specific thing that's going on in this fortress, just to kind of explain for people who are perhaps turning up at the end of the stream, this fortress is a fortress we're trying to build almost entirely out of soap, which is why we're like a year into the fortress and we've got half of a wall built, and that's about it. And that's because we're making it all out of soap. We are literally trying to make a fortress out of soap. No, we didn't have an aquifer. And we got no migrants this season because the value in this fortress is really low. We've barely produced anything of value, but that's fine. Means that we got more time to build the soap fortress up. No, soap doesn't melt in rain. It doesn't rain here, by the way, so even if it did, you know, it wouldn't matter anyway. It doesn't rain in this biome, but soap, once constructed, you know, it's immune to rain in Dwarf Fortress. But yeah, all these walls here, this wall, dog soap bridge, leopard soap, wall along here, leopard, cat soap, horse soap floor, yak soap along here. There's a dog soap, yak soap, dog soap bridge here. And then a lot of the workshops are made out of soap as well. So this is a, we got a soap still, a soap mason's workshop, a soap leatherworks, a soap tanner's, a soap mechanics. Yeah, fortresses can fall very quickly. That is definitely, I've known that to be the case. I've experienced that one myself. Never leave dwarves unattended. You can't trust them by themselves. You can't leave them unattended. You know, they just cannot be trusted. Right, okay, so we've got the perimeter wall on the north almost done. Then we just got to do the two sides and then the bottom, and then we got the walls completed. We'll also have to put a lip around the wall to prevent anything from climbing the wall. So we need to make sure that there's going to be a lip around the wall as well.
Thank you very much.
Demodo7, thanks for following. Yes, we'll be going up. We're building a soap tower. That's why we haven't built so much underground. You know, the dwarves don't have bedrooms because I want to try and avoid building things underground. The dwarves are going to have their bedrooms above ground in rooms, individual rooms. So yeah. Oh, and we've had a marriage. Avenue Phil has married a woodworker. Congratulations, Avenue Phil, if you're still here. I don't know if he's still here at the moment. I think he's probably gone to bed. I mean, it's pretty late. But, yeah. Oh, sod it. Oh, no, we've already traded with the merchants. We don't need to worry about that. I don't think they've got anything else that we wanted. Yeah, I need to... I haven't updated my GIF images in a while for my streaming thing. So I think one of them is the Theresa May GIF. We had a dwarf in a fortress named Theresa May because we had a dwarf who oh yeah, that was it. We had a dwarf make a statue of another dwarf, and the statue was a statue of them in a field of wheat. But yeah, that was that was a long time ago. I need to change all my GIF images. They're all really old. But I'm lazy. I'm a lazy person. I'm not kidding, right? I didn't tell him to make this statue. It was literally just a random statue. Like, you know when you tell them to make like 10 statues. It was a statue of a dwarf in a bunch surrounded by wheat, and it was like, okay, obviously we got to name this dwarf Theresa May, right? Like, oh my god, it was that was in Tin Fortress. That was in the fortress we made out of tin. Well, not out of tin, but in the fortress with lots of tin. We've had Tin Fortress, we've had Sludge Fortress, we've had Ocean Fortress, we've had Soap Fortress. This is the second Soap Fortress. We've had all sorts of fortresses over the streaming years. Is it raining? I didn't realise it was raining. Christ, I was hoping it wouldn't rain. I was hoping that this area was free of rain. That's going to be an issue. My dwarves are going to get very mad because they hate rain. Well, whatever. Can't be avoided. They'll just have to do things quicker. How many rock nuts do we have? Well, we don't have any. God, it's taking us a long time to get rock nuts. I don't think they do tactics. I think it's something that constantly annoys them, and that's why it's a very dangerous thing. But only that's my understanding anyway. It's just that they basically never get used to it, so they're always upset about it. I think maybe some dwarves get accustomed to it, but it's a case-by-case basis sort of thing. That's why he can't make bathtubs. I mean, dwarves don't mind being sprayed by water if it's from like a waterfall. They actually quite like that. They just don't like rain. They hate it when it rains on them. Really upsets them. Right, stocks. I need to check my seeds over here. See if maybe there's like some rock nuts that I'm not accounting for or something. Prickleberry seeds. God, look how many prickleberry seeds we got. Pepper seeds, cucumber seeds. We've got 2 rock nuts. Good grief, we're going to need more rock nuts than that. We're just not processing them fast enough. I think that's the issue. And also because he's processing plants over... He's like processing... right, what we're going to do is... cancel that. Stop processing plants for the time being. Focus solely on processing plants into bags. So we just get rock nuts done. And maybe we can get some other dwarves to do that as well. Like, do we have... the Drunk Dutchman is currently burning wood. Golden Deer is storing items in bag. Golden Deer, you can become a plant processor for this meantime as well. Yeah, okay, so yeah, because every time they process a quarry bush, then they get 1 seed. But the seeds are also being planted almost immediately. We need to be producing more seeds than we're planting, if that makes sense. Because we need to use the surplus seeds in order to mill those into soap. Because the other methods that we got of getting soap at the moment are not yielding enough soap. We're not getting enough soap from our geese because our geese have not actually had any goslings hatch yet. So we can't get any goose soap at the moment, so rock nut soap is really the only thing that we got going. Because we don't have any cotton as well. Cotton would be great if we had it, but we don't have it. We don't have Knaf, do we? Knaf would also be great. No, I don't think we do. What kind of seeds can we make into oil? I know that we can do cotton, rock nuts, and Knaf. And then what else? Flax, hemp, flax. So we're going to be able to get fine flax. We're in tropical, so we're not going to find hemp. tropical dry. We could possibly find Kanaf, but we didn't find any when I was looking earlier, so I have a feeling that we're not going to find any over here. Yeah, there's peppers, for example, Longland, white yams, prickleberries, lime, rice. We've got loads of rice. Ratweed. If only we had olives. If we had olives, that would solve so many issues. Pepper plants, date palms, rice. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm just kind of hoping beyond hope that there's like some over here somewhere that I've missed. But I suspect I would have found it by now if it existed. It's a shame you can't just tell your dwarves to go and try and find like a particular plant, but hey, just the way of the world. Alright, eventually we will have enough rock nuts that we can sustain both growing rock nuts and planting them at the same time. Eventually that will happen. It's just a matter of time. Like, it takes a while, but eventually we will get there. I thought this stockpile was supposed to be for seeds only. Yeah, they shouldn't be. They should only be putting rock nut seeds in here. They shouldn't be putting prepared food in here. But the prepared food thing is just oh god, they just put prepared food everywhere. It just ends up in all the worst places. Okay, so yeah, we're starting to get more rock nuts. That's good. We're getting some more thread. That's good over there. Need some more bags. Christ almighty. Did we ever make enough leather bags? No, we ran out of leather. Did we? I thought we had more leather than that. I was confident we had plenty of leather actually. Oh, he's still constructing them. It's taking them a while to do them. Oh, actually, did he run out of leather? I don't see any cancelled orders for making leather, so we should have leather. In fact, there's an easy way to check that, isn't there? And that's to go to here. Tanned hides. Yeah, we've got 26, so we should be able to make 26 bags. Still, it's just taking our leather worker a while. I think he's probably got some other labours that he's trying to do. Our leather manufacturer, a tanner. Our leather worker, sorry, is about to get. Ah, that's why he's farming. Right. Okay. So our tanner at the moment is not doing anything. He can also be a leather worker. And then he'll make the bags pretty quickly. And then yeah, there we go. He's getting on that. So every time we get a new bag, that'll be great. How many bags do we have? I wonder. Stocks. They're all filled with crap. That's the reason why. I don't know where bags are. Are they in cabinets? Containers? Maybe under containers? Crutches? Earrings? Ah, wherever it is, it's somewhere. Alright, it's been almost exactly 4 hours since we started this stream, so I did say that I would stream for 4 hours today, and I have done. We've done a 4-hour stream, and we're going to keep streaming Dwarf Fortress every Friday, starting at 7 o'clock UK time. So if you've joined us for the first time here, then we'll be streaming Dwarf Fortress again on Friday at 7 PM UK time. Tomorrow I would normally stream a strategy game, but I have to...
Thank you very much.
You were counting the minutes? I wasn't counting the minutes, but I do have to go get some food because I haven't eaten. So I need to go make some food. Thanks for the follow, by the way, PetMoo23. But yeah, so I'm going to leave it here. You know, we're going to continue with this again in the future. Next Friday, in fact. So, you know, if you've enjoyed it, then, you know, I hope I see you again. We haven't had any deaths, no. It's been pretty sedate. Nothing too dangerous or risky has been happening. We've just slowly been building up our fortress and building up the wall of soap. Waiting in order to grow some animals. But yeah, other than that, it's been pretty sedate. But we will be back with this on Friday. Tomorrow we are doing the Nancy Drew talk show with DDR Jake. I have no idea how that's going to work, but we'll find out. And then after that we might stream some strategy games. But if not, then that'll be the one-off thing. Normally I want to do strategy games on Saturdays. But yeah, I'll update the schedule so you'll be able to see whatever's going to happen. And I'll leave you with that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you have enjoyed it. It's been fun. It's been fun to be back playing Dwarf Fortress again after all that time.